Hello, everyone. So we had a little bit of a late start. It's currently 2:03 and I was supposed to start at 2. But essentially, I got everything ready. I have all my yarn picked out, the projects I want to work on, all that. And then I was sitting here at like 1:55. I'm like, ooh, I'm ready, 5 minutes early. And then I realized I didn't have my crochet hook. So yeah. Hi Lizzie, how are you? So yeah, hi Dervert. So yeah, I was ready, but not ready. When I tell you I was sitting here sitting pretty, and then like 1:58 showed up and I was like, wait, I don't have my crochet hook. So yeah. Hi C4S. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like my videos. Izzy, you're asking if I can crochet a blanket? I have crocheted blankets before. I've crocheted baby blankets. Hi, Crafts by Yvette. Um, I crocheted two baby blankets, one for each of my nephews. And both of those took me a very long time. I've considered making, hi Dandy's World, how are you? I'm glad you like my videos. I've considered making like my bed. I sleep on a twin bed because my room is tiny. And I'm like, ooh, let me crochet myself a blanket. That's gonna take forever because crocheting the baby blankets for my nephews, one of them took like 80 hours to make. And those were crib size blankets. So, can I crochet a blanket on my live today? If I did that, it would be an 80-hour live stream. So yes, no, I'm only planning on streaming for around an hour today. So let me tell you what the plan was, and then I had to change the plan. So the plan was to finish up the hat that we were working on my last live stream because I only had like 30 stitches left and then I ran out of yarn. And I ran out of green yarn specifically. So I went out and got me some more green yarn. And can't find the hat. Can't find it. So we can't finish that project together. I'll find the hat eventually. It's somewhere in this room. So I'm probably just gonna finish that off on my own time. But we're not gonna finish that hat today, unfortunately. So instead, what is our project? It's gonna be three projects, technically, three mini projects. We're gonna make some scrunchies. So I have my hair elastics here, and we have a white, a blue, and a purple, and those are gonna be the colors of the scrunchies. Hello, Ekiwak. I hope I said that right. How was my day? My day's been pretty okay. I had a pretty slow start to the day. I work nights, so I got home from work at like 1 a.m. and didn't go immediately to sleep. I didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. So I woke up around 11:30 this morning and I just kind of chilled and prepped for the stream, got my camera set up, all that stuff. So, yeah, I haven't really done much this morning. Um, can I do a finish or frog? Potentially in a future video. But remember how last time, if you were here in the last stream, remember how I was talking about my backlog of videos? I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't. Hi, the Mighty Pen. How are you? Or the One Mighty Pen. How are you? I don't know if you've noticed, but since the last stream and this stream, I haven't posted a long form video. I've been posting a short every single day, but I have not posted a long form video because I still haven't gotten around to editing those. So I still have like 20 plus unedited videos. So a Frogger finish, unfortunately, is not likely to happen anytime soon. Like last time I told you guys that the next video, like the next long form video I'm going to be posting is my, what is it? My my crocheting my birthday sweater vlog, I need you to understand that my birthday was in January and it's May. So when I tell you I have a backlog, I have a backlog, okay? So yeah, you're so pretty. Thank you so much, Izzy. But yeah, so the videos, they're taking time because like when I make a video, I have like hours, plural, of footage. So to go through all of that footage takes a very long time. Happy very late birthday. Thank you. Like, I've never gotten a happy birthday in May before. But yes, thank you very much. Yeah, so that's on me. Like, I've been editing this video off and on since January. Like, I will say I'm almost done with the rough cut, but then I need to add like text on screen and like the timer that I put in the corner and like to show how long it takes me to make the project and this, that, and the third. So listen, backlog. And here I am chatting, but not crocheting. This is supposed to be a crochet and chat, and look at me not crocheting. So here's my crochet pouch that has all my stuff in it. This is what I was looking for and why the stream started a little bit late. So I have my trusty crochet hook. Your birthday's coming up and you're trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, honestly, for my past few birthdays, I haven't really done much. I feel like the last time I had like a birthday party was my 20th birthday, and it was like a marathon party in the sense that, so I got my first car when I turned 20. So me and my friends were just like out on the town. So I was driving everyone everywhere. We went bowling, we did laser tagging, we did an escape room, and then we went out to dinner. So, and I was driving us from place to place to place because I was the first one of my friends to get a car. So yeah, that's the last time I really did something for my birthday. And I feel like that's partially because when I was in uni, I was on the varsity track team, and the weekend of my birthday, we would always travel for a track meet. So it's like every other weekend, it would be like this weekend we'd compete in Toronto. Next weekend we'd compete in like somewhere far away. Like sometimes I'm in Canada, by the way. So sometimes we'd compete in the US and this, that, and the third. And the weekend of my birthday, we would always be competing in the US, meaning I couldn't have a birthday party that weekend because I wouldn't be in the country that weekend. So yeah, and then it would be like by the time track season was over, it would be March. And then I'm like, am I really gonna have a birthday party in March? Probably not. Yeah, I haven't really had a real birthday party since I was 20, and I'm 27 now, mind you. So like I still do something on my birthday, but I usually just like go out to dinner with my family, which is nice. Like we just sit and chat, and like especially like I have two older brothers, right? And they don't live at home anymore. So it's like I don't see them as often as I did when we all lived together. So it's like it's good to just like see them and catch up and stuff. So yeah, I usually just go out to dinner for my birthday. Congrats on 20,000. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm actually like so surprised. It's literally been 2 months since I hit 10,000. I hit 10,000 in February 25th, and then I hit 20,000 on April 20th. Crazy. Look at me in my high school. Oh, are you referring to my sweater? Yes, this is a sweater from high school. This is from, when did I get this? I think I bought this in grade 11, which is 11 years ago. Listen, I'm the kind of person, I don't really go clothes shopping. Look at me still not crocheting. Let me start crocheting. I don't really go shopping much. Like I find something that I like and then I wear it for 10 years. Like as long as it fits, I'm going to wear it. And it's like if I have a shirt, like a t-shirt that eventually gets like worn out and it has like a hole in it, that's cool. It's now a pajama shirt. Like I'm not going to wear it out and about. Like I'm not going to like run and get groceries with a hole in my shirt, but I'm just going to wear it to sleep. Like, I don't really go clothes shopping. The last time I bought clothes, like, oh, I'm revamping my wardrobe, was when I was 19, so 8 years ago. I've definitely bought, like, oh, one shirt, one dress here and there over the past few years. But in terms of like, oh, back to school shopping and like buying like 10 shirts and 10 pants, haven't done that in 8 years. So most of the clothes I wear, I've literally had since high school. And as long as it fits me, I'm going to wear it. So, yes, we're making scrunchies. We're making velvet scrunchies. This, so I like to match the, let me show you the colors. So I have my white hair elastic and my white yarn. See how that matches, see how it blends in. Love that. Then I have my blue hair elastic and my blue yarn. Beauty. And then finally we have purple hair elastic and purple yarn. Lovely. So those are the three colors we're making today. And so let's start crocheting. I feel like I've been missing chat. Oh my gosh. Or were you saying that I look like I'm in high school? Is that what you were saying? I feel like I read that I feel like, wow, that's falling apart. I feel like I read that message wrong. Are you saying I look like I'm in high school? So many people have been saying that to me lately. And part of me doesn't believe because it's basically like, I know what I looked like in high school, right? And it's like, I definitely looked similar, but I know that I look older because I've seen myself in high school. I feel like if I showed you a picture of me in high school, you'd be like, okay, yeah, you looked definitely younger. But yeah, people have been telling me I look like a teenager lately, which is so funny to me because when I was a teenager, everyone thought I was in my 20s. Crazy. So maybe I'm aging in reverse. Maybe I'm Benjamin Button. Who knows? You're making baby beanies to donate? Lovely. That's so nice. I actually made some, that reminds me, I made some baby beanies to donate to like, there's someone I know who like, they started their own foundation and I made some beanies, but then there was like kind of a miscommunication of when she needed them. So I still have them. I plan to give them to her, but that's reminding me that I need to maybe send her a quick message because I have them made. Ooh, do you want me to show them to you? I just literally untangled all of that and now I'm about to stand up. So hopefully that doesn't get retangled, but let me show you real quick. Ooh, okay. So I have them in this box. See? Ooh, they might be overexposed from the light, but yeah, so I made these little cable hats and there's 10 of them in here. And I just haven't given them to her yet, but I do plan to. So that's a good reminder. Can crochet a granny square sweater? I might. I have made, when I do like the hexagon sweaters, I lost my train of thought. When I do the hexagon sweaters, I just use regular double crochets because I just prefer that to the granny stitch. I don't know why. I like, not that I dislike the look of the granny stitch, but when I'm making sweaters for myself, I prefer it to just be like solid. So yeah, those are adorable. Thank you. Glad you liked them. They took me longer than I thought. Like making the cables takes longer than just making like straight double crochet hats. But I'm glad that they're like something unique. And I used like a tweed yarn for the first time. So like each one is a little different because like the speckle pattern is different. Izzy, you're a big fan of the granny stitch or of me? Sorry, I'm like trying to decode these in real time. But yeah, when it comes to the granny stitch, I feel like I'm new to the granny stitch in the sense that I haven't really made many things with the granny stitch, if I'm being honest. Congrats on hitting 20K. Thank you, my world of crochet. Okay, sorry. I want to count these. When it comes to making scrunchies, um, Lori, thank you. Thank you. I'm like so shocked that I hit 20K. I'm like so shocked. But sorry, back to what I was saying. I like to count because like sometimes when you're crocheting onto the elastic, you might think you've done enough stitches. Like you might think it's full, but you're not. Like if, let's say for example, if you do 30, I usually do 50 single crochets before I start making the scrunchie part. When you do 30, you'll think it's full, but if you keep like moving the yarn over, you can fit a lot more stitches in, which then makes the scrunchie more frilly when you're done. So I like to count. Give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna try to count in my head because I don't think you guys want to hear me count out loud. But I ever done micro crochet? Nope. And I don't wanna. I am not the one. Like I was saying in my last stream that my favorite hook is this 6.5 right here. And I don't want to, I don't like small hooks. I don't want to do it. I might try it if it's like a challenge for a YouTube video, but is it going to be like, oh yeah, my go-to micro crochet? Unlikely, if I'm being honest. What am I making? I'm making some scrunchies, some velvet scrunchies. Oh yes, you were saying you were a fan of me. Well, thank you. You tried to crochet a scrunchie and it was hard for you to crochet around it. Yeah, it can be like a little confusing at first, but I feel like the more you do it, like you just kind of get into the flow of it. Hi, Denvon, how are you? Trying to crochet and count. Hard. I think I'm at 18. I think. But you see how, let me show you something. So it's 19, 20. You see how like it looks like I have no more space left? I can literally just move the stitches over and I have all this space, right? So it's like you can fit so much more than you think you can, and then you get like a really frilly scrunchie, which is what I'm going for. You're working on your channel and working towards your first Etsy sale. I wish you the utmost success. I will say from my experience, it can be a slow start, but if you stick with it, things will start to work out. Like in a general sense, the more work you put into something is the more you'll get out of it. And I know that at times it might feel like unmotivating when you're working so hard and you're not seeing the fruits of your labor yet, but you will eventually. The only time you fail is when you quit. So as long as you don't quit, you haven't failed yet. So keep going. Like when I made my, sorry, I'm missing chat. I'm the kind of person, I like read one comment and then talk about that one comment for like 5 minutes. Hold on, let me get caught up. You lost 23 watermelon seeds and now you only have 7 left. Oh, so you're doing some gardening? I do not have a green thumb, so I am envious of you. Hold on, I think I'm at like 48, sorry. 49, 50. I really hope that's 50 because we're going to start making the frilly part now. But 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I don't need to count anymore, so I can be focused on chat. Erasmus, you're a big fan? Well, thank you very much. And also random, in case you weren't here for my first stream, my camera's here, but I have chat on a screen over there. So if you see me looking over this way, that's why. Um, you crochet scrunchies, and you do single crochet for the first round and 3 double crochets in every stitch for the second round. I do the same for the first round, but for my second round, I do 3 treble crochets. And it's just something I tried once. Like, I'm pretty sure the first scrunchies I ever made, I did do 3 double crochets. And then I was like, but what if I did a treble crochet? And so that's what I've been doing ever since. I gave some great advice about like your Etsy. Yes, I'm glad that I just want people to know that I feel like you see a lot of stories of people like, oh, I made $10,000 my first month on Etsy. And it's like, I'm not saying those people are lying. Maybe they did. But it's like you're only ever going to see the major successes. Like that's the video that's going to blow up and that's the video that's going to go viral. So then when your stuff doesn't blow up, you think you're doing something wrong. And it's like, no, you're just seeing the videos of the 1%. You know what I mean? So that's not what it's like for most people. Hi, Grace. How are you? Do I like working with chenille yarn? Yes, I do. I feel like it depends. Sometimes, like there was a point in time when Michael's, their Sweet Snuggles yarn wasn't like they had like a bad batch, and so that one was like breaking a lot, and it was very like what are the words I'm looking for? It was very, I don't know, like the fuzz would come off and then you'd just be left with a little string. But then they like briefly, or not briefly, for a few months, they took it off the shelves. And then when they brought it back, it like the quality is good. So yes, I like working with good quality chenille yarn, but when you're working with the kind that just falls off the string, then it's not very fun because then if you need to frog something, you can't because all the fuzz is gonna come off. So yeah. How long have I been crocheting? I've been crocheting for 16 years. Yeah. Since I was 11 years old. John, hi. I'm glad you like my videos. I'm hoping to post some more long form videos. I just need to get time to edit them. And also, this is like so random, and I probably should have said this 22 minutes ago when I started the stream, but I'm trying this thing for the first time. I'm doing a dual stream, which is, you know how like you can go live vertically on YouTube now? So most of you guys are probably watching the horizontal stream. But apparently I'm also streaming vertically at the same time. And apparently, like what I was reading online before I started this stream, I think the chats are like 2 separate chats. So some people might be commenting on the vertical one right now and I don't even know. Where's my phone? I was like trying to research. I'm like, how do I see both chats? So let me see if I can pull up my own stream on my phone. What's the best thing for a beginner? Someone who's just learning to crochet? I would say learning your stitches. Like there's like 5 main stitches you need to know. Or maybe 6. Okay. You need to know how to chain. That's like the basics of everything. You need to know a slip stitch, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and a treble crochet. So those 6. Once you know those 6, you can make basically anything. Hi, Andy. How are you? What am I making? I'm making a scrunchie. So yeah, you can make basically anything with those stitches. So like, for example, I'm making a scrunchie, which I'm doing single crochet and treble crochet. So if you knew how to do those two stitches, and let's say I made a tutorial video on how I make scrunchies, then you would be able to follow that video because you know those stitches, right? So it can get like more complicated when you start talking about like, oh, back loop only and increase and decrease and stuff like that. But when you're first starting out, you don't even need to worry about that. Just master the basic stitches and you can more or less crochet anything, because an increase is just two of whatever stitch you're currently using. Let's say you're using double crochets. An increase is just two double crochets in the same stitch, right? So you can start learning like the other terminology later once you've mastered all the stitches. Sorry, I'm missing so much chat. Am I gonna make more scrunchies today? I'm gonna make 3 scrunchies. So I'm making this white one, and then I'm gonna make a blue one and a purple one. Yes, because each scrunchie takes me about 20 minutes, which means that will equal about an hour, which is how long I'm trying to stream for. Last time we went for like almost 2 hours. I think we went for like an hour and 56 minutes. That was not the initial plan, nor is that the plan today. I could run long, but at minimum, I'd like to stream for an hour. So I like to come up with a project or multiple small projects that equal about an hour. Ploon, I hope I said that correctly. You liked the hat from my tutorial and the one you made came out well. I'm so happy. I'm so glad that, because that's my first tutorial ever and it's also my first pattern, and I'm glad that it came out well. How long do I think this stream will last? About an hour, or whenever I finish the 3 scrunchies. So if that takes a little bit longer than an hour, then that's how long we're going for. Demps, congratulations. Thank you so much. I'm still shocked that I'm at 20,000. In my post that I made on my community tab, I was saying how this is not my first YouTube channel. I actually have many YouTube channels, and the one that I call my first channel isn't actually my first channel, but it is the first channel where I showed my face. Like essentially I have a classical music channel because fun fact, I play the piano. And so I had a classical music channel about piano, but like you didn't see my face in that, on that channel. And so the first time I actually put my face on the internet was 10 years ago when I was 17. And so I call that my main channel. And that channel I started 10 years ago and it currently has 15,000 subscribers. This channel that you're watching right now has existed for less than 2 years. It'll be 2 years on May 18th. So in 16 days will be 2 years. And I'm already at 20,000. Like the fact that I surpassed my other channel that I've been working on for a decade, my mind is truly, truly blown. And I feel like it's multiple things. One, when I started my first channel, YouTube Shorts didn't exist. So it was just long form, and it's harder to get found on just long form. At least for me, it has been. But I feel like I've really figured out shorts. Like, okay, sorry, I'm gonna ramble a little bit. Hope, you're saying congrats to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like, I'm just so thankful that all of you are here. Like, even the fact that I have people watching me live, like, what do you mean by that? Like people are just like, interested in what I have to say. Like, I'm just 20,000 people, not in this live right now, but on this channel, 20,000 people care about what I have to say. My mind is blown. But yes, a point that I was about to make. So back in 2020, when the world was shut down, I have a TikTok, not my crochet TikTok, but like a different one where I used to post every single day because there was nothing else to do. There was no school. This was before like classes were on Zoom and stuff. So there was no school. There was no extracurriculars. Like I wasn't going to the track and running because facilities were closed. You know what I mean? Like everyone was just inside their house. And so I was bored and I didn't have anything to do. So I'm like, I had my other YouTube channel where I would post once a week, but then I'm like, what am I doing for the other 6 days a week? Like, so then I got into short form, and YouTube didn't have short form at the time. So I hopped on TikTok and I was posting every day. And I currently have like 70,000 followers on TikTok. So when I get to the point where this channel surpasses that, that's going to be crazy because I've never had more than 70,000 on one social media platform, and I'm really confident in what I'm building here on YouTube right now. So I believe that I will I lost my train of thought. Yes, I believe that I will surpass 70,000 at some point. But my point is, I've really been good at short form content for a while, since 2020, but those videos were not about crochet. But now I've kind of taken like what I know about short form and applied it to crochet, and it's been working. And so I'm really happy about that. What are my 3 main tips for starting a business? I would say, what are my 3 main tips? Firstly, unless you got a bunch of money, do not put too much money in up front. Like, find the minimum amount you can spend to start your business and work with that. I understand that it can be tempting to like hit the ground running and come out with like 20 products off rip. But if you're like, for me, I don't have a whole bunch of money, right? So essentially what I did is I started my business with $200. And so I spent some of that on yarn and some of that on shipping materials and some of that on key rings because I wanted to make some keychains and like a scale so I can weigh my packages at home and like pay for all the shipping and stuff. Ahead of time. And so when I go to the post office, I don't have to wait in line. I can just drop it off and go, right? So like stuff like that. And then essentially I bought 3 balls of yarn, 1 pink, 1 purple, 1 blue. And then I just made a bunch of products with those 3 colors and mix and match them. So I made a turtle with a blue body and a pink shell, and then a pink body and a purple shell, and a purple body and a blue shell, right? And so I just made different combinations. And then I made a blue frog, like a blue leggy froggy, and a purple one and a pink one, right? And so I made multiples of each product to give myself stock, but also for product photos to show like, oh, this is a custom item. You can get it in multiple different colors. And then when the yarn ran out, I took pictures and I posted whatever I had on my Etsy. And then when I made sales, the money that I made from my sales, I then used that to buy more yarn, right? So I didn't invest too much money up front, which I think was smart because it's also like, you don't know what's gonna sell, right? So if you make 30 leggy froggies and then leggy froggies don't end up being popular for you, well, now you just have 30 leggy froggies, right? So I'd say like make 1 to 3 of each item to like kind of, if you're doing customs and you want to show what it looks like in different colors, and then post what you have. And then through your sales, you'll learn what people like, and then you can start making multiples of the thing that sells a lot. So that's tip number one. Don't spend too much money. Like, you want to invest in yourself, but not make yourself bankrupt. Tip number two is to make a variety of things. Like, I made scrunchies, hats, bandanas, and plushies, right? C4S, you gotta head out. Well, thank you for tuning in to my live stream. Yes, I made like a little bit of everything. So I made some wearables, not like shirts, but hats and bandanas and scrunchies. And then I made some pillows, so like home decor. And I made plushies, right? So I made a little bit of everything. Here is scrunchie number one. I haven't weaved in my ends, but I'm not going to do that right now. So this is scrunchie number one. Let me wrap back up this yarn so that we don't have a giant mess. Hi, Deep Malakori. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. So yes, I made a little bit of everything. I also made keychains because once again, you don't know what's going to sell. And for me, my most popular products have been keychains. And there was no way for me to know that ahead of time. You know what I mean? And so if I only had hats on my shop, then I might not have gotten sales because people wanted keychains. So the only way for me to know that people wanted keychains was to make keychains, right? So tip one, don't spend too much money. Tip two, when you're first opening your shop, don't necessarily pick a niche like, oh, I'm going to be the person who makes plushies. Because maybe there's a lot of plushies and it might take time for people to find you. But if you have plushies and keychains and scrunchies and bandanas, then multiple different types of people can find you. But if you're only making one type of thing, then only one type of person is going to find you, right? And that's not, but let's say you make hats and those hats become popular, then you might stop selling plushies or make less of them and focus on hats because that's what's selling for you. But you don't know that until you start getting sales, right? You're crocheting a panda while watching this. Ooh, I bet it's going to turn out cute. But yes, so, yeah, people say to pick a niche. Like, for example, my channel is about crochet, which is very broad because you have wearables and plushies and home decor and all that stuff. But I haven't niched down to like just wearables or even within wearables, just hats. Like I do make a lot of hats. Hats are my favorite thing to make, but I don't only do that because I haven't established that yet. You know what I mean? So I can't decide, oh, I'm going to be the hat girl. I don't know what people want from me. It's like, in a way, your audience kind of decides what you are known for. Because it's like, if I like making hats, but people want me to make scrunchies, if I want to grow my audience, I should make scrunchies. You know what I mean? And so you never really know what's going to sell until you post a little bit of everything. And then the thing that starts getting the most sales, that's what you sell now, right? So yes, put a little bit of everything. So I know I've been rambling. Tip one, don't spend too much money at the start. Tip two, make a little bit of everything so that people have options. Tip number three, I would say post content. And I know that like things vary by age, and if you're younger, then maybe your parents don't want you on the internet like that, which is completely understandable. But for example, me, I'm an adult, so I can kind of do whatever I want. So I found that social media, and you can also do social media faceless. Like you can do like an overhead shot of just your hands. So if you're not comfortable putting your face on the internet, that's not to say that you can't make content, right? It's good to have a variety with a bit of uniqueness. Yes, like for example, when I make my hats, most of my hats are ruffle hats, and I know that I didn't invent the ruffle hat, but it's like, for example, you can't walk into Walmart and buy a ruffle hat, right? Like you can walk into Walmart and buy a beanie. So you might be like, why should I spend $30 on your handmade beanie when I can get a beanie that looks exactly the same at Walmart for $5? And honestly, fair. Like some people care if something is handmade and other people don't, and that's completely valid. So it's like if you just care about the way it looks and not how it's made, then yes, go buy the $5 one from Walmart. But if you care about the look and you literally cannot get this look at Walmart, then you have to buy it from me or buy it or from another crocheter, right? Like that's your only option because you are never going to find this in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, definitely put a twist on it where it's like people, they don't necessarily have to buy from you, but they have to buy it from a handmade artist because this, I've never seen a mass-produced ruffle hat before. So it's like, if you want a ruffle hat, you have to buy it from a handmade seller, right? And so yes, definitely put a unique spin on it. But going back to what I was saying, I lost what I was saying. Yes, about content creation. Hi, Cat Mom Chronicles. How are you? So yes, going back to content creation, essentially within Etsy, Etsy is a marketplace, meaning someone could search ruffle hat and you could potentially show up. Meanwhile, if you have a standalone website, people aren't necessarily just going to stumble upon that. So yes, there is some search visibility within Etsy, but I wouldn't rely on that. So essentially, you're going to have to market yourself. And there are two ways to do that. Ads, aka paying money, or the free way, which is social media. And I've done a bit of both. Like I've reinvested money I've made back into the business. So I made some money and then I used that to then pay for ads to then get more sales, right? But at the start, I was doing social media. And a lot of my sales come from people who found me on social media. And it's also in that sense, people want to buy from you. You know what I mean? Like they like you. They want to support you as an individual, right? So it's not that it's like, let's say they want a crochet hat. They don't want a crochet hat from Sally. They want a crochet hat from Olivia. You know what I mean? And so you get to build that connection with people. And so it's not just a transaction, it's a relationship, which is like a wonderful thing to have. And so, yeah, like you need to market yourself and you can either do that for free or with money. So once again, recap. Tip 1, don't spend too much money up front. Tip 2, have a variety of products. And tip 3, market yourself. And I would just say social media is the freest way to do that. Yours is expensive and you can't find the right one. Where do I buy mine? And you say you're from England. So I don't know what shops you have in England. I don't know if Michael's exists in England. I know that it exists in Canada where I am and in America. But that's where I get my yarn from. And sometimes I buy my yarn on Amazon. Like this velvet yarn, I buy it on Amazon because in America, I think they sell Bernat velvet in Michael's. They do not sell it in Michael's in Canada. So the only place you can buy it is Walmart, and they have like 3 colors at Walmart. So then if you want like the other 20 plus colors, you have to buy it online. So that's what I do. And I like will wait for it to go on sale, or like, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and pay full price. Before social media, you used to take pictures and put them in a photo album and show them at craft shows or events. Ooh, okay. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like social media has really change the game. Like, yeah, like I will say I grew up in a time of social media. I was born in 99. So like social media definitely didn't exist to the extent that it exists now. Like the first social media platform that I was ever on, do any of you guys remember MSN? That's the first social media platform that I was on. But even within MSN, like, so I was on like MSN and Facebook and stuff like that. With those social media platforms, like back in the day, social media, you didn't have followers, you had friends, aka people you knew in real life. And you would just like talk to them like, oh, I just saw my friend at school, but now we're talking on MSN. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was never, for me at least, like I know MySpace exists, but MySpace was kind of before my time, so I was never really on it. But it's like, um, what are the words I'm looking for? You, everyone that I spoke to on social media when I was like in my early teens were people I already knew. Right? So now, like, there's 20,000 people who subscribe to this channel, and I obviously don't know all of you guys personally. So it's like social media has become a thing where people from the opposite side of the world, people who would never otherwise have known that you exist, like, um, they now have the chance to know of your existence, which if you're trying to sell a product, well, now the whole world, 8 billion people could potentially be your customer. Meanwhile, when you only had friends on social media, then it was only the people you knew. And it's like, yes, you could go to in-person events and meet new people that way. But it's like, if you just stayed, like right now, I can stay in my bedroom and reach someone on the other side of the world. You couldn't do that in like 2004. You know what I mean? Like that was not a thing. You remember MSN and MySpace? See, okay, so I have some people within my age group up in here. Oh my gosh, I posted a video. Sorry, quick tangent. I posted a video of me making a hat that says 1999 on it, which is the year that I was born. And someone commented and they're like, "You were born in the 1900s?" I was like, I know this is a child, so I'm going to let it go. I'm like, 1900s? You're talking to me like I said I was born in 1906. I'm 1 year away from 2000. Crazy. I get some crazy comments on the YouTubes. You would love to crochet again if you had time. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it is something that can take up time a lot. It's a slow craft. It's a slow craft. And honestly, because I have a full-time job, I spend a lot of my time crocheting at like 2 a.m. because that's when I can squeeze it in. And then also on the weekends like I am right now. And I have not been counting. Hold on, give me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we need 30 more. See how it looks like I would be finished the circle, but no, you gotta pull that and now you have all this space to work with. So yes, that's why I like to count, because you'll think, oh, I'm done with the first row. No. You can always fit more stitches in. Sorry, I'm trying to quickly count, but like counting and talking is hard. Okay. I love your hobby and your story, how you started when you were in school. Yeah, it was, they really didn't want to let me into that crochet club. In case you guys missed it on my last stream, long story short, I learned to crochet from Crochet Club in my elementary school, but they kept increasing the age where you get to join. So I went in grade 3 and they turned me away. And then I went again in grade 4 and they turned me away again. And then they finally let me in grade 5. So yeah. It took a while, but I was determined. I was a determined 11-year-old. And I was like, you're going to let me in. You're going to let me in because I want to learn this thing. And lo and behold, 16 years later, I'm still doing it. So yes, me being stubborn was a good thing because I literally, I found my thing. Like I've always been into like arts and crafts and stuff, but like there are things that I've started and like never really picked up again. But this, 16 years strong. Okay, let me finish this up. I think I'm at 47, 48, 49, 50. There we go. Okay, now I don't need to count anymore. Um, do I use a hairband for my scrunchies? Yes, I do. So I have these hair elastics and then I like to match the color. So like for this one, there's a blue hair elastic under it. That way when you stretch it out, even if you see the hair elastic, it like blends in. That's just a thing that I like to do. So like, for example, if I have a lot of black yarn, but I don't have any black hair elastics, then I guess I'm not making black scrunchies because I really, really like it to match. I really, really like it to match. So basically I actually recently bought like 60 black hair elastics. So I'm good when it comes to black. The reason I'm not making any black ones today is because I'm almost always wearing a black shirt. So when you're using black yarn and wearing black clothes, then no one can see what you're doing. Hope you gotta go. Well, thank you so much for tuning into my live stream. I love your crochet things. How old were you when you started? Well, firstly, thank you. I'm glad you like my crochet. I started crocheting when I was 11 years old. So 16 years ago because I'm currently 27. So yeah, my school had a crochet club and I joined it. And honestly, when I was in elementary school, I love how you said, I think I'm at 47. When you're done, will I have to redo it? Oh, with my stitches? Honestly, as long as it's close enough to 50, it should look more or less the same. I just don't want to accidentally do like 20 stitches and then it won't be nearly as frilly as I want it to be. When will my next live stream be? Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I know for sure I plan to do one on the 18th because that will be the 2-year anniversary of this channel. But I might do some before that, but I don't know. But for sure, I will be streaming on the 18th. But yes, I was saying how like I learned to crochet from a club at school, and honestly, I was in like every single club at school. So I'm not surprised that I wanted to join Crochet Club because when I tell you I was in every club. Let me name to you the clubs that my school had. So we had Crochet Club. We had Chess Club, which I don't play chess. Like I understand how to move the pieces. Like, oh, the horse moves into the shape of an L and the pointy one, I don't even know the names of these pieces. The pointy one goes diagonally and the queen, she can do whatever she wants. And the king can only move one space. Like I know how to move the pieces, but I don't know how to win. I don't know how to checkmate you. Oh, I just stuttered. Whoa, let's try that again. I don't know how to checkmate you. I don't know, oh, these pieces have to be on these squares, and then that means that you can't move anywhere. Like, I understand that to checkmate basically means that no matter where you move the king, you're dead, right? I get that, but I don't know how to position the pieces to achieve that. So I don't know anything about chess, but your girl was in chess club anyways, right? Crocheting with Cosmic, you're in Crochet Club. I love that. I love crocheting with other people. Olivia, you're so funny and I love your channel. I have to go now, but I'll see you around. Well, I'm glad that you think I'm funny. I think I'm funny, but then I'm like, what if I'm the only one laughing? Might have to do a collab with you and your cats. Honestly, I love cats, so I would love that. What was I gonna say? I was saying something and now I lost it. But yes, I remember. Don't know a thing about chess, but your girl was in chess club because it wasn't like a chess team where you were like competing. So like obviously you need to know what you're doing. No, it was a club, which means you can be bad and you can still be in the club. You know what I'm saying? So your girl was in the club, okay? And I was in scrapbooking. I was in what was I in? I was in, oh, I was also in a band. I play the flute. If you don't know, I was about to say I could whip out the flute. No. Let me not make promises I'm not going to keep. No. But I said earlier that I play the piano, but I also play the flute. And so I was in band. I was also in flute ensemble, which was a separate thing from band. And I was in, oh my gosh, you know the recorder, like the instrument that no one likes? Well, we had a recorder ensemble. Sully, you have to drop in and say hi. Well, hello. I'm sorry that you can't stay for the whole thing, but the replay will be available on the channel if you want to tune in later. Lori, you were born in 1966. Well, that's the thing that I love about this craft. It's like people of all ages can just like enjoy it, and like we all have that common interest. Like, I love that. I love that for us. But what was I? Yes, flute. Oh no, I was talking about the recorder. We had recorder ensemble. But like, you know how when you hear like people playing the recorder, it's like the little like soprano recorder. We had soprano, alto, tenor, and bass recorders. Like it was like a band of recorders, and I played the bass recorder. Do I remember how to play that? Of course not. This was when I was in like, I want to say the 7th grade, so I was 13. That's more than half my life ago. I do not remember like where to put my fingers to make the different notes. I'm sure that I could reteach myself if I wanted to. I remember maybe like 5 years ago, I was looking up a bass recorder because I wanted to buy one just to like reteach myself how to play it. Why was it like, if I'm remembering correctly, like over $1,000? No thanks. Don't want to pay that much money. Hi, Sarvino. I hope I said that correctly. Sarvinos. How are you? So yeah, not gonna buy myself a bass recorder, but they do exist. Like look up a bass recorder right now. Like it's big enough and heavy enough that you need a neck strap when you're playing it, because you're not just gonna be able to hold it up yourself. Like it's made of plastic, but it's heavy. So I used to play the bass recorder. I was in choir. Can I sing? I don't know about that, but I was still in choir. Like when I tell you, I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to be in stuff. Like didn't know how to play chess, but I was in chess club. Not really that great of a singer, but I was in choir. Like I didn't care if I was good at it. I was going to do it anyways. Your name is Emma? Well, hello, Emma. So yeah, I was going to do it anyways. I was in everything. And every club, I'd never had anyone turn me away. So when Crochet Club turned me away, I was like, no, I'm going to be in every club that this school has to offer, so you're going to let me in. And they finally let me in after my 3rd attempt. I played the viola in school and they didn't do auditions, so I ended up being first cherry, even though you weren't good. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. The only way to get better is to practice. So maybe having the authority of first chair would make you be like, oh, well now I gotta get good. You love my videos? Well, thank you very much. So yeah, like I I was in everything, whether I was good or not. When it came to music, like not singing, but when it came to playing instruments, I consider myself to be good at instruments. Like I have been playing the piano since I was 6, and I've been playing the flute since I was 12. I actually minored in music in university. So I majored in film and I minored in music. And something, I'm going to tell a little story. So, um, where do I begin? I switched majors multiple times when I was in university. So it took me 6 years to finish my undergrad. I started when I was 18, finished when I was 24 because I kept switching majors. And so, I was initially a business major. Your girl was going to be an accountant. I need you to be honest with me. Do I have the personality of any accountant you've ever met? Like, I don't know why I was like, oh, I'm going to be an accountant. That was not the career path for me. And that's okay. But for some reason, 18-year-old me was like, yeah, I'm going to be an accountant. Okay. So anywho, I did that for, I think, 2.5 years or 1.5 years. I know the first time I switched majors was halfway through one of my years of school, right? So then I switched to like, it wasn't computer science, but it was like a derivative of computer science. And the reason I chose that is because my brother, he's a programmer. So it's like, I knew what it was. So I didn't know if I was interested in it, but I'm like, I know that this thing exists. So let me try it. Hi, Tara. How are you? And so I did that for a little bit. And I did that for a year, didn't like it. So then I switched to film, major in film, minor in music. And so when you're switching majors, there's like this like online form that you have to fill out so that, because it's like, okay, you have to take certain classes to get a degree. So it's like if you're in chemistry, like there's certain science classes you have to take. You can't just take a bunch of, let's say you need 120 credits to graduate, which would be 30 credits per year in a 4-year degree. You can't just take 30 credits per year of music and then get a science degree. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain classes that you have to take, right? So if you're enrolled electronically, like with the school system as this major, then you can't enroll in classes of a different major because then they're like, rephrase, because you need gen ed. So obviously there's certain classes outside of your major that you can enroll in, but like the compulsory courses where there's a limited number of spots, you can't enroll in those because then the people who need to take that course for their degree, they wouldn't be able to take the class because some random person from a different degree chose to take this class, right? Okay. So I submitted my change of major request, and then I tried to enroll in film classes and it wouldn't let me because they hadn't approved my request. So essentially, I had a friend who minored in music, and she said that she didn't need to audition to do the minor. Like they just let her in, right? So I think I'm a good musician. However, I get very nervous when it comes to performing. So I was like, if I have to audition, then I'm not gonna get in, right? So I was like, instead of majoring in music, I decided to minor in music because I was told that you did not have to audition to get into the minor. So anyways, I applied to switch programs from computer science to film major, music minor. And then my application was just pending for months, right? And then now the new school year is about to start and I'm trying to register for my classes and I can't because it still has me enrolled as a computer science major. So then I like contact the school and I'm like, hey, my application has been pending for months. What's going on? And then I get a reply and they're like, oh, have you done your audition yet? And I was like, since when do I need to audition? Like, I have a friend who switched into a music minor and she didn't have to audition. So I'm like, I have to audition. Mind you, this is like 4 days before school is supposed to start. 4 days. So they're like, okay, we can get you in, but you're going to have to submit this audition within the next 48 hours. So essentially I had to videotape myself playing an instrument and then like upload it to YouTube unlisted and then send them the link so that they could watch it. When did I start crocheting? 16 years ago when I was 11. Hi, Yoon Che. How are you? And so, what are the words I'm looking for? Yes, so I auditioned with the flute. I did not audition with the piano because the flute, in my opinion, is an easier instrument because you're only playing one note at a time. Meanwhile, when you're playing the piano, you're playing like 4 notes at a time, a chord in your left hand and then the melody in your right hand, right? So I'm like, I don't have time to learn a song on the piano, so I guess I'm learning a song on the flute. When I tell you I had to prepare 2 contrasting pieces, aka a fast one and a slow one. And so I prepared that in 48 hours, filmed my audition video. You weren't allowed to do any editing because you couldn't have like a jump cut because they wanted to see you do it as if it was a live audition. You crochet and you made a flower in a flower pot. That's great. I don't crochet many flowers. I crochet flower keychains and flower pillows, but I've never made like, you know, when people make the flowers on stems and like the bouquets and stuff. I've never really tried that. But yes, let me just quickly finish my story because maybe it's not that interesting to you guys, but I already started it, so I feel compelled to finish it. So essentially, I set up my camera, filmed myself playing these 2 songs, submitted it on, uploaded it to YouTube, sent them the video, and then the next day they're like, okay, you're in the program. And I was like, how, no offense to this university I went to, but this music program cannot be that good if I could prepare for 2 days and get into the program. Or maybe I'm just that good of a musician. Maybe I'm just that good and I just don't know it. But I don't think so. You're also a YouTuber? Ooh. I like meeting other people who share my interests, whether it's music, YouTube, crochet. Love that. Love meeting other people that you can just like talk to about things that you're interested in. But yes, so that is how I got into the music program at my school. Auditioning with 48 hours to prepare. Glad it worked out. So am I. Because I did eventually get the degree, but getting into the program, I was initially told that I didn't have to audition, and then 4 days before school started, they're like, haha, lol, you have to audition. So, yeah. So, basically, I have an art degree, which I suppose makes sense because I consider myself to be a creative person. And technically, I'm using my degree right now. Am I not filming stuff? Am I not using my camera, setting up my lights, figuring out framing? Like, am I not, like, using my degree? Like, I'm not working on film productions per se, but I'm using my degree. Am I not? So, yeah. Um, how much does yarn cost where I am? Um, it depends. It depends on the type of yarn. Like velvet yarn costs more money. I would say it averages around 12 Canadian dollars. But like acrylic yarn is cheaper. Like you can get it for as little as like 4 Canadian dollars, 4 to 5. So yeah, it and it also depends on the brand. If you get like this is Bernat Velvet, that's the brand. And because they're like a known brand, then their yarn is more expensive. What am I crocheting? I'm crocheting some scrunchies. I actually just finished this one. So this is the first one I made. I haven't weaved in my end yet, but this is the white one. And then I've just finished this indigo blue one, and I'm going to cut off my yarn. Oh, this is like so random, but you see these scissors? In my last live stream, like you guys probably don't care about my scissors, but like there's a story, I promise. So I was using these scissors in my last live stream to cut my yarn, right? Except for the fact that no, when the last live stream I did was before I went to Jamaica, and I brought these scissors with me to Jamaica because it's a 4-inch blade, which is allowed on a plane, or so I thought. So when I was going to Jamaica, they let me take my scissors on the plane. And when I was coming back home from Jamaica, they confiscated my scissors. So as soon as I got back to Canada, I reordered the same scissors because I love these. They're listen. Okay, these have a lot of sizz. They're sharp, they're good, I love them. And so I just rebought the same scissors, and in the future, I will not be bringing these on a plane with me because they're gonna take them away from me. Or it's like a 50-50 chance, because when I was going there, they didn't take it. But when I was coming back, they took it. So I'm not gonna keep rebuying scissors. That's too expensive for me. I don't want to keep buying the same thing over and over again. So I will not be traveling with these scissors again. But yeah, they took my scissors, and so I bought another pair. So that's the story about that. Here is scrunchie number 2. And now we are going to make our third and final scrunchie in purple. This one, the other 2 skeins I was working from the outside. This one, I did do a center pull on it back in October. That is the last time I used this yarn. So let me see if I can find the center pull. Is it this? Is it you? It's the you, I think. Let me not break the yarn. Let me not. I'm just trying to find the correct end. I think it's this one. Good, okay. So, in your country, yarn costs $1. Yeah, I think it varies by country. It varies by brand. Yeah, I feel like yeah, there's a lot of variables about the price of yarn. And like for me, like I could technically get cheaper yarn, but for me, Michaels is the place that I buy yarn from, and I buy their Loops and Threads brand when I'm using acrylic. And the reason for that is just convenience. Like, there's a Michaels like 10 minutes from my house. So if I get an order and I don't have the yarn, I can just go pick it up quickly. Meanwhile, if it's a yarn that I have to order online, which might be cheaper, then it just takes me longer to make an order because I have to wait for the yarn to come in. So for me, it's less about price and more about convenience. Like if yarn at Michaels was like $30, then obviously I would rather wait for yarn in the mail than to spend $30. But for me, like $5 is worth the convenience, I guess. It's easier to carry a flute than a piano. Very true. Very true. That's honestly one of the reasons I chose to play the flute, because a flute can fit in your backpack. Honestly, hold on. I literally have my flute because like my dad bought me a flute for my 14th birthday. So I own my own flute. Let me get it for you. It's literally right there. Give me a second. See? So here's my flute. And this, when I was in high school, I brought this to school every single day because I was in instrumental class, and I was also in band. So like I needed it. And this fit very easily in my locker, and it also fit into my backpack. So it's like I didn't have to carry it in my hand. I just threw it in my bag. Like this, so easy to carry around. Like even a trumpet isn't that big of an instrument, but a trumpet is not going to fit in your backpack, especially when you already have other things in your bag. Like if your backpack is empty, then maybe you can fit a trumpet in there. But if you have your books, like you have your textbooks, your notebooks, your binders, you are not also fitting a trumpet in there. It's not happening. But this, you can fit this almost anywhere. So yeah, sorry, I just got a text. I just wanted to see what it was, but it's just one of the many group chats that I'm in. So I can respond to that later. But yes, here's my beloved flute. I haven't really played her in a while. But yeah, I've had this for 13 years now. There was one point when I was in high school, one of my flute keys broke and I had to get it repaired, but I feel like it wasn't that expensive. Like the music teacher at my school, she had like an instrument fixer person, because it's like the school obviously had a bunch of instruments, so it's like I owned my own flute, but if you were in band but you didn't have your own personal instrument, then you just used one of the ones at the school, right? So like the school has relationships with people who fix instruments because they have like 50 plus instruments that need to get repaired every now and then, right? So essentially, I think I got this fixed for like $50. Like it really wasn't that expensive. Now, if my flute's in working condition, but now if one of my flute keys broke, it might cost me more money because I don't have like the hookup with a instrument fix-it person. So it would probably cost more money, but I only had to get it fixed that one time because one of the keys broke, and I don't know how it broke or why it broke, but it was broken. But that was like maybe when I was 17. So 10 years ago it broke, but it's been a-okay for the past 10 years. So yeah. That flute looks so easy to carry. You have to carry an alto sax. See, when I was picking my instrument, I was taking size into consideration. And like when it came to picking instruments, like in elementary school, let's talk about music since we're on the topic. So at my elementary school, you know how I said the school owns flutes that you can like use, right? Because obviously not everyone is going to own their own, right? So my school had 11 flutes, meaning that if your class was learning instruments, only a maximum of 11 people could play the flute because there were only 11 available flutes. And if you were in band, only 11 people playing the flute could be in band because there were only 11 flutes, right? Except if you had your own, then there could be a 12th because you have your own, right? Okay. So anyways, before we learned to play like the concert band instruments like flute, clarinet, trumpet, all that stuff. Hi, Augie. How are you? We were playing the recorders, right? And I was telling you about like the alto, tenor, and bass recorder and all that stuff, right? So after we learned those instruments, now it was time to learn concert band instruments. And you got to pick 3. So you'd write down your top 3 in the order that you wanted them. So I believe I wrote flute, clarinet, and alto sax. And so it's like if you didn't get your first choice, then you would get your second or third choice, right? Or that was the plan. Like that was ideally what would happen, right? So back when we were playing the recorders, I took my recorder home every single day to practice. Every single day. And so my music teacher knew that when we started playing concert band instruments, that I was going to start taking it home every single day. Okay? So essentially there were 11 flutes, and he assigned me flute number 11, right? So I got my first choice, which was flute. But the thing is, there's multiple music classes. It's like how do I explain? We started playing concert band instruments in grade 6. So grade 6, 7, and 8. Let's say there were 3 grade 6 classes, 3 grade 7 classes, 3 grade 8 classes, right? Which means multiple people would be assigned to flute 3. Multiple people would be assigned to flute 7, right? So at the end of the day, if you wanted to check out a flute or any of the other instruments, you basically had to get to the music room first and say, if I'm assigned to flute 3 and you're also assigned to flute 3 and you get to the music room first, then you get to check out flute 3. And I can't then check out flute 4 because then one of the other 6 people who are already assigned to flute 4, well, now they can't take it, right? So it was basically when the last bell rang, it was a rush to the music room to get to your instrument, right? So the reason why this is relevant is my teacher assigned me flute number 11, and he didn't assign anyone else to flute number 11. So everyone else was assigned flute 1 through 10 for all the other classes. And I was the only person out of everyone in that school who was assigned to flute 11 because he knew, he's like, Olivia is going to practice every single day. She is going to take this home every single day. And I don't want her to not have a flute to take home. And I'm just like, teachers, like good teachers, oh my gosh, like I don't know, people notice things even when you don't think they notice. Like he noticed every day without fail I checked out an instrument, and he was like, I'm going to make sure that you always have an instrument to take home. Like that is I love good teachers. Like that is, I don't know. He was one of my favorite teachers in elementary school, and like for good reason. Like he was really looking out for your girl because he knew I was going to be there every single day. And then, so that was in grade 6. And then in grade 7, same thing. I was the only person who was assigned to flute 11. And then when I was in grade 8, that's when my dad got me my own flute because he was like, I know that my daughter's serious about this. Let me get her a flute. So then, like, I had my own, so I wasn't using flute 11 anymore. The idea of sharing wind instruments is gross. Yes and no, because you clean it. So it's like there's a, I don't know what it's called, but it's like this pink solution, this pink like antibacterial solution that before every single class, if you're using one of the school flutes or whatever instrument, you wash the mouthpiece. So it wasn't like I used it and then immediately passed it to someone else. No. It was like you washed it before class, and if you were going to take it home, you washed it before you took it home in like kind of like, it wasn't hand sanitizer, but it was like something that kills bacteria, and you wash it in that every single day before you use it. So yeah, the germs were killed before you put it against your lips. Sorry, I need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Um, Not you crocheting right now. Well, this is a crochet in chat. We're crocheting together. Sorry, I'm trying to get this first row. I keep not crocheting because I need to count the first row. And counting and talking is hard. So that's 19, I think. And 20. We need 30 more, but let me chat a little bit more. I don't want to have like a minute of silence while I crochet the first row. So that's why I'm going slow, but that's okay. But yeah, so Angie, you're heading out. Well, thank you for watching the stream. I'm so thankful. Um, but yeah, so I've had good teachers who really like fostered my love for music. Like even when I was in high school, I took music theater. And so for music theater, you had stage and then you had the pit band. And so the first year that I took music theater, I took it in grade 11 and in grade 12. And when I was in grade 11, there was only one flute part in the sheet music, right? And a different girl, like she was playing the flute, meaning there was like no instrument for me to play. So then I technically shouldn't have been allowed in music theater. But then my teacher, she knew that I also played the piano, and there was like a strings part, like a violin part, which I obviously don't play the violin. But when you're playing a keyboard, so you have a piano, which is like the acoustic version, like the one that has the mallets in it. And then you have a keyboard, which is the electronic version, and you have all the different sounds, right? So I just played the keyboard and changed it to a violin sound. And that's why I got into music theater, because she's like, I want you in my pit band. I know that you're a good musician and I don't technically have a spot for you, but I'm going to make a spot for you. Like I've just had so many people like recognize not necessarily my talent. Like, do I think I'm a talented musician? Yes. But I also think that I work hard and I practice a lot, right? And so I've had people recognize my work ethic and they're like, they make space for me. And I've just been like really like honored that people are just like, I'm going to figure something out because you deserve it. Like I've encountered so many people that have just like, I don't know, they've just like recognized something in me that sometimes I didn't even recognize in myself. What is your favorite chip? Like like, I don't know. Do you know the chip popcorners? It's not like a potato chip, it's a corn chip. But I love popcorners, specifically the kettle corn flavor. It's the one in the red bag. That one is good. Sorry, I'm trying to detangle my yarn right now, which is why I'm not crocheting anything. Yeah, I tried popcorners once when I was in university. Like, okay, when I was in uni, I was on the varsity track team and we had a team room and like we had like a mini fridge in there and a microwave and all that stuff. And one time someone had like, we had like a little counter and someone had left popcorners on the counter. So I'm like, ooh, let me try it. And I tried it. It was my first, I think I was maybe like 19, maybe 20, maybe 21. I don't know. And I had never heard of this chip. And I tried it and I was like, this is so good. And so whenever I'm buying chips, I'm usually buying popcorners. Or for a more traditional chip, I like Doritos, specifically sweet chili heat. That is the best Dorito flavor, in my opinion. Sorry, this is knotted, and I'm trying not to break the yarn because tying acrylic yarn, like attaching a knot, is relatively easy. With thicker yarn, the knot is more noticeable, and I don't want to have a knot in my scrunchie. So I'm trying to get out this knot without breaking it and then having to tie it back. So let's see what we can do about that. But yeah, I feel like when I talk about my life, um, maybe my life is more interesting than I thought. Because it's like I've played high level sports, I've traveled a lot for sports, I play multiple instruments, I've been involved in a lot of extracurriculars, I've met a lot of people. It's like I know uh like a couple of pro athletes within the track world. So it's not like, oh, I know LeBron James. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, track athletes aren't like mainstream famous like a basketball player or like a baseball player, football player, but it's like you're still a pro athlete. You know what I mean? And it's like I know some. I've been in. Um, I've been on track teams with people who then became pro athletes. So it's like I knew them before they went pro. And then also the track that I train at, a lot of pro athletes train there. So like we're not like besties, but it's like we know each other. Like I'll walk into the track and give you one of these. It's like I know you and you know me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like I know some cool people. I've had some cool experiences. I've done some traveling. Like my life might be interesting. um, I was trying to crochet a hat on YouTube, or is it just hard to crochet? Are you asking, are you saying you've had trouble crocheting hats, or if you're, or are you asking me if it's hard to crochet a hat live? If you're asking me if it's hard to crochet a hat live, no. Mainly like when I'm doing my own pattern, no, because I've like committed it to memory and I don't really have to count. Um, if you're having trouble with a hat, just take it slow. Like there's no like, or like potentially check out a different tutorial. Like different people might explain the same concept in a different way. You have a quick question? Okay. Ask away. But yeah, that's another thing. It's like I consider myself to be a visual learner, so I tend to like to watch video tutorials over written patterns. Like I can follow written patterns, but I also like to see what's going on. Okay, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to break it because I don't want to sit here forever. So, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to cut the yarn. And we're just going to have to deal with how we're going to attach the new piece. So firstly, let me recount to figure out where I'm at in terms of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Let's get this first row done. 22, 23, 24, 25. I also like crochet over my ends as I go so that I don't have to weave them in later. You're having trouble with a hat. Honestly, I would say it honestly is just about practice. I know that this is not the most fun answer ever, but the more you do something, the better you'll get at it. And so it's anything new like is going to be a little bit of a struggle in the beginning, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get. You're heading off because it's 5 a.m. where you are. 5 a.m.? Are you in Australia? That's the only place I can think of where it would be 5 a.m. Oh my goodness, you're watching me at 5 a.m.? Well, I'm glad that I could be your nighttime and or early morning entertainment. But yes, thank you for joining me. Okay, let me read this because it's kind of a long one. Yes, you're in Australia. How did I know? It's literally the only place I could think of. I'm like, you're like 14 hours ahead. So it's May 3rd for you right now. I didn't know that Australia was 14 hours ahead. Wow. Good to know. Good to know. What is your question is what is my favorite crochet project? Is that the question? My favorite thing to crochet are hats just because they're fast and like I like things that I can complete in one sitting. Like I can definitely make a sweater in a day, but I'm not gonna like I'm gonna have to take like a bathroom break and a food break and all that stuff, right? But with a hat, I can just sit in one spot for like an hour or two. Like we've been on this live for an hour and a half, right? And I didn't have to like go up and leave the room to eat or something. You know what I mean? So I like things where I can just sit in one spot and get something done. It makes me feel accomplished. I like small projects where it's like, for example, I'm about to finish my third project of the day, right? Which is a scrunchie. So there are 3 small projects, but it's still 3 projects. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel accomplished. So, yes. So hats are a bit bigger than a scrunchie, but it's still enough that it's still small enough that I can finish it in one sitting. I don't know if I answered that question. If I didn't, maybe I'm just misunderstanding. But yeah. See, look, now I have all these ends that I'm going to have to weave in later because I had to cut off my yarn and reattach it. What is my favorite food to eat? I'm going to cheat and then I'll give a real answer. If we're allowed to say dessert, then cheesecake. If I'm not allowed to say dessert, then honestly, anything that's pasta. Like anytime I go out to eat, I order pasta because you can't mess up pasta. You just have to boil some noodles. Like you can't really, and throw some sauce on it. Like if let's say you're like learning to cook for the first time, start with pasta. You cannot mess it up. It's the easiest thing to make, right? So when I'm going out to eat, I always order the pasta. Like if you're going to a new restaurant, order the pasta because they can't mess it up. They can't. Let me put it this way. If the pasta is bad, then the steak is going to be bad. You know what I mean? If you can't make pasta, you can't make steak. You know what I'm saying? So it's like order the easiest thing to make on the menu, which is pasta, and just know that it has the best chance of being good. So I always order pasta. It is my favorite thing. And yeah, you can't go wrong with pasta. I will always get a chicken parm, or if I go to Moxie's, which I'm pretty sure is a Canadian restaurant. So if you're not Canadian, you might not have ever heard it, but you might not have ever heard of it. But if I go to Moxie's, I get the chicken rigatoni. That is my go-to order every single time. And that's another thing. Whenever I go to a restaurant that I've been to before, I always order the same thing every single time. Why? Because if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to spend my money on something that I know I'm going to like. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to spend like $30 plus tip for food that I didn't like. You know what I mean? So while there might be other good things on the menu, I'll never know. I'll never know because I'm going to order the same thing every single time. And that's just my own personal philosophy. And also, let's say I'm going out and someone else is going to pay for my meal. I'm still going to order the same thing because I don't want to waste your money either. Let me tell you something about me. I'm a very picky eater, right? So I don't want to order something and then I don't like it because I don't like most things. So if I know I like something, I'm going to stick to it because I don't want to waste my money or yours. Do you use Ribbler? there's a lot of free patterns on it. I've never used Ribbler before. Yeah, I don't even know if I've heard of it before. I've heard of Ravelry before, but yeah, honestly, when I'm looking for patterns, I tend to look for video tutorials first because, as I've said a bajillion times, I'm a visual learner. So I like to see what you're doing. It's like when I'm making a pattern for the very first time, I want to see someone make it. And then if I make the pattern again in the future, then I don't need to re-watch the video because I already saw it the first time. Like I really only need to see it once and then it's kind of like seared into my brain. Like I wouldn't quite say I have a photographic memory, but most things, if I see it once, I can remember it. And also like if I hear something once, I can more or less remember it. So like if I'm going to read something, if I just read it in my head, I won't necessarily remember. But if I read it out loud, meaning I heard myself say it, then I'll like remember what was read. I don't know. You know how when you're in school, they make you learn, you learn what type of learner you are to make it easier for you to learn? I am a visual and auditory learner. That is what I learned. Am I doing a video tomorrow? I'm going to be posting tomorrow. Whether it's going to be a long form or a short form, I don't know. I do have a long form video that's almost done being edited, and I could potentially finish editing it later today if I decided to edit later today. It's just like, okay, I work Monday through Friday, so the weekends are kind of my only days off. So I don't know if I want to edit today. I don't know, which is why it's taking me a billion years to finish this video because I just have not been motivated to edit. Sometimes there's a YouTube tutorial like going along with the Ribbler pattern. Okay, I might have to check it out. I gotta get going. Have a great day and congrats on 20K. Thank you so much, Lori. Do I have a scrunchie tutorial? I do not. A lot of things I make, I kind of just, like, okay, whenever I'm making something, if I'm designing something, I always write down what I'm doing as I go. So it's a freehand, and then I write it down so that if it turns out well, then I have a pattern. And so I have lots of patterns that I've written down for myself to follow, but I haven't released them because I've only released one pattern. And when I release a pattern, I want to make the text version and then a text version with pictures and then also a video version, which takes time. So that's why I wish I could release patterns more often and tutorials and stuff. But unfortunately, having a job makes that hard because I don't have as much time as I would like. Do I like making tutorials? I do. They just take a long time to do. Like, in a video I made earlier this year, I was listing my goals for 2026 for my business. And one of my goals is to go full-time in my business. If that happens, I will be, like, you already see me a lot because I post a YouTube short every single day, but there will be so much more coming from me. Like, I'll be able to do more tutorials, more patterns. I'll be able to, like, come up with more collections. Like, Hi, Olivia. I love your videos and you crochet as well. You're making a cat. Well, I'm glad you like my videos and I hope your cat turns out well. But yes, I work, I like to take my own pattern and then just make it in different colors to kind of make different collections. So for example, if you go to my Etsy right now, I have a Jamaica collection because like my background is Jamaican. And so I wanted to make different products in the colors of the Jamaican flag, which is black, green, and gold. And so I have like hats that are black, green, and gold, and a scrunchie set. So you get one black, one green, one gold scrunchie and stuff like that. And so there's like lots of different color combinations. Like for example, I wanted to come out with like a Mother's Day collection, which I didn't get around to designing any Mother's Day stuff because I just was too busy. Meanwhile, if I didn't have a full-time job, then I would have been able to work on that collection. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know it seems like I'm making a lot of stuff now because I do post every single day, but I'm telling you, the amount of ideas I have in my head, like, ugh, I wish I had the time to execute them all. Like, I wish. I wish. You've made my hat tutorial and it was easy. I'm glad. I was trying to make it as simple as possible because I want as many people as possible to be able to make it. You sell them for 15 euros. Is that a good price? I would need to convert that to Canadian dollars. Hold on. Let me do that. Let me do a quick conversion. Hold on. CAD to euros. Because I know that the euro is stronger than the Canadian dollar. So that's about $24. I would say that's a good price. I price mine a bit higher, but once again, it's about what you're comfortable charging and also about like how long it takes you to make it. So it's like, because you want to factor in, like let's say it takes you 2 hours to make it. You wouldn't want to charge like $10 because that would be paying yourself $5 an hour, right? But if you make it in, let's say, half an hour, which I can't even make it that fast and it's my design, but let's pretend that you could make it in half an hour, then you might be able to charge less because you can make more of them in the same amount of time that I could. So it's like if I can make 5 in a day, but you could make 10 in a day, then you wouldn't necessarily be losing money by charging less, right? So yes, I think it just, there's a lot of factors. It also depends on how much materials you're using. So it's if you use a less expensive yarn than I use, then you might charge less. And if you use a more expensive yarn, you might charge more. So yeah, pricing can be very subjective. I don't think there's any right price. I think you charge what you're comfortable charging. And if you, let's say you were getting an influx of orders and you just couldn't keep up, then you might want to increase the price. That way you would get less orders, but you'd still be making enough money because let's say you increased your price by 30% and then you got 30% less orders. Well, now you're doing less work, you're making less hats, but you're still making the same amount of money, right? So yeah, there's so many factors. Like let's say you're just getting started, maybe you'd price it lower just to get your first couple of sales in. I've done that. Like I had my sunflower pillows on my shop for a long time and they weren't selling and I reduced the price by $10 and then it sold like a week later. So yeah, pricing is something you really have to play around with. Can tomorrow's video be a blanket? No, because a blanket would I wouldn't be able to finish a blanket by tomorrow. So I wouldn't be able to make a video about an unfinished project. Yeah, blankets are not something I make often. Like, and it's also not something I've ever sold because the amount of time it takes to make a blanket, I would need to charge for it to be worth my time. And when I say worth my time, I mean in the sense that, let's say I was going to make a blanket, and let's say it was going to take me 2 weeks of nonstop working on it, meaning I wouldn't be able to work on other orders. Well, then this one item needs to pay me enough for 2 weeks of work. Meanwhile, if you're working on multiple items, then each one doesn't need to equal 2 weeks of income because you're splitting that income over a bunch of stuff, right? So if I'm going to stop everything I'm doing to make a blanket, then that blanket would need to cost hundreds of dollars. And there might be some people out there who would spend hundreds of dollars on a blanket, but that's a very specific type of person. And so when I have made blankets, I made them full well knowing I wasn't getting paid. Like, I just made them for like someone in my life, someone who I wanted to make a blanket for. So yeah. I'm your inspiration. I don't want to butcher this, so I'm just going to say Olu. I'm glad that I've inspired you to crochet. Can you make the hat with chenille yarn? Potentially. It's all about, there's so many variables, because I've had people in the comments ask me about different variations, like, oh, can I do it single-stranded instead of double-stranded? Can I use a different size hook and all this stuff? And it's like, technically yes, but then you're gonna have to do the math to figure out how to make it work with your modification, right? Like, I can't do the math about how many stitches you'll need and all this stuff for every single possible variation under the sun, right? So it's like, and I do that all the time. When I follow a tutorial, if my tension is different than the person in the video, then I might need to add rows or omit rows in order to get it to be the size that I need it to be. Right? And that's just math that I have to do on my own time. The creator gives me the layout, and then I can choose to modify that. So I really cannot tell you how it would turn out with chenille yarn. It's honestly something you'd have to try and see if it works. Like, because I gave you measurements in terms of like how big the crown should be and how long the hat should be, if you do the same amount of rows and you don't get the right measurement, then you can either add rows or take away rows to get it to be the right measurement. You know what I mean? But once again, you have to do that math. What's my favorite thing to crochet? Hats. Love to crochet hats. I wish I was getting an influx of hat orders. I actually have been getting more hat orders recently. And I know that it's not really hat season. Like, it's not like people aren't really buying beanies in May. So I've recently come out with some bucket hats, which is a summer hat. So I'm hoping that those start getting sales. I haven't sold any bucket hats yet, but I hope to. So yeah, I love to make hats, and I'm trying to make hats for different seasons so that I have ones that will sell year round. Which pattern am I using for the scrunchies? A pattern that I made up. But it's very simple. For the first round, when you're crocheting over the elastic, it's just do single crochets until you've crocheted over the whole elastic. For me, that equals about 50. Sometimes it's 52, but it's about 50. And then do 3 treble crochets in each of the stitches from round 1, and you're done. Izzy, I'm probably not going to crochet a blanket anytime soon. If I'm being honest, blankets are very big projects and they take a long time, which would mean I wouldn't be able to work on anything else while working on the blanket. Or if I was working on other things, then the blanket would take me like 6 months to make. So then the video still wouldn't come out like this year. So yeah. Yeah, there are certain things like when it comes to you gotta go, Plune. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, thank you for being in my live stream. But yeah, the thing, like, when it comes to how many pieces have I crocheted today, this is number 3. And this is going to be the last scrunchie of the day. But, what was I saying? Yes, when it comes, if any of you are considering starting a crochet business, there comes a balance between what you want to make and what people want you to make. So it's like, I love to make hats, but my hats are gaining a little bit of traction. But for the most part, my hats are not that popular. Scrunchie number 3, complete. Since we're here, let me weave in the ends. I usually don't weave in ends on camera because I feel like it's boring. But since we're here and since we're chatting, let me weave in some ends. But yes, I love to make hats. But other people want, like my most popular products are keychains. So my orca wheel keychains and my flower keychains, right? And so I can't force people to want my hats. You know what I mean? So I can make them and I can post them, but I can't make people buy them, right? So you might want to do a project, but you also, if you're trying to focus on your business, then you have to put like personal projects on the back burner to make the things that people are ordering, right? So there's kind of that balance. I'm not like, you should always, like, you don't want to lose the fun of the craft. So I have personal projects on the side that I don't film, but then I do have projects that I do film because I'm trying to grow my business, and posting on social media is how I promote my business, right? So there's a balance. Don't go all business, but also don't go all hobby if you're trying to grow a business. Will I have another video tomorrow? I will. I don't know if it's going to be a short or a long form, but something will be posted tomorrow. This live stream counts as today's post, so there will not be a short posted today because this is my daily post for today, but there will be content tomorrow. I actually hit 1 year of posting every single day on April 21st. So on April 22nd, 2025, I started posting daily. And so on April 21st, that was day number 365, and I posted every single day. Do I plan to continue posting every single day for another year? I don't know. It is a lot of work, especially with a full-time job, but I've seen so much growth. Like I went from 790 subscribers last year to now over 20,000, majority of which are from shorts. So if I'm trying to get to 50,000 by the end of the year, I'm probably going to need to continue posting shorts. So yeah, Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love posting shorts. It's just, it is a lot of work to come up with an idea every day. Or like if I'm taking a clip from a longer video, then I have to like find that interesting clip and then cut it down and like add the captions and all that stuff. So it is work. Am I gonna crochet tomorrow? Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to show you some things that I've been working on once I finish weaving in these ends. And so these are things that I've been crocheting off camera, just like new products that I've been adding to my shop. So yes, I'm going to stick around because I'm going to show you some stuff. But yes, so this is the white one. And all the ends are woven in. Nice, nice. Now let's do the blue one. So, yeah, I might crochet some things for a collection that I'm working on. I also might not. I don't know. I also have, sorry if my voice is getting raspy. I'm kind of thirsty. And I did not bring water into my bedroom. So yeah, sorry if my voice is getting a little raspy, but what was I saying? Yeah, I've been, Izzy, no, I'm not upset. We're just chatting. I've been answering your questions. What was I saying? Yes, I'm very bad at taking product photos. Like, I'll crochet like 10 things and then not take any pictures of them. So it's like, girl, you can't sell something if you don't post it online. So, yeah. I have some things that I've worked on that I just haven't posted on my Etsy yet. So I have a lot of things to do. I could crochet, I could take pictures, I could film some shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to, I guess, being self-employed, which I'm partially self-employed because I still have my regular job. But when it comes to like running your own business, no one is telling you what to do. It's not like, okay, these are your tasks for the day. You know what I mean? Um, it's like you have to decide what to do. And you, what are the words I'm looking for? You have to decide what is important. And it's like, I might think crocheting is important, which it obviously is. I have to make products. But at the same time, if I never post the products, then you know what I mean? So it's like I'm focused on one part of the business, but then not the other part. So then I'm not completing the task. It's like I have to make the thing. Yes, very important task. But then I also have to get people to buy the thing, and they can't buy it if I don't post it, right? So I'm only doing the first part and I'm not doing the second part. So then the business doesn't run if I don't do everything, right? So yeah. Number 2, all ends woven in. And now we need to do so on the purple. Do I crochet multiple times a day? Yes and no. Sometimes I'll crochet before work, but then I don't have enough time to finish a project. So then when I come home from work, before I go to bed, I'll just finish it. So it's like I'll crochet multiple times, but it's like, it's one project, if that makes sense. But like, yeah, I don't tend to crochet during the week a lot because I have my job. Like, when I tell you I wish I did not have the job, like, when I tell you I have so many ideas racing through my head so many things that I want to do, and there's no time to do it all. But the business is growing. I've been getting pretty consistent sales lately, not like daily sales, but weekly I've been getting sales. And so while it's not enough to quit my job, we're working towards it. Like, I'm being completely transparent. That is the goal. My YouTube channel is getting close to being monetized. I need 10 million shorts views in a 90-day period to get monetized. And I'm currently at 7.5 million. So I need 2.5 million more views in the next like 2 months or so. So doable. It's doable, but we haven't done it yet. So the money isn't coming in from YouTube yet, but that's okay. Do you ever do any sketches of what I want to crochet? Sometimes, if I'm trying to figure out a stitch count for something, or like where I need, like for example, when I'm making my Jamaican flag hats, which I don't have any with me right now, but if you're curious as to what it looks like, you can go to my Etsy, and like under my Jamaica collection, you'll see a Jamaican flag hat. Like, it's literally a hat that looks exactly like the Jamaican flag. And that hat involved moving where the increases are to keep the pattern of the colors. So it's like, let's say you were doing a standard hat. You would do 12 crochets, 12 double crochets into a magic circle. Your next round would be an increase in each stitch, so 24. Then you would do double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase, which would get you to 36, then to 48, then to 60, right? So you're increasing by 12 each time. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, right? So the increases are evenly spaced, right? But on my Jamaican flag ruffle hat, I had to do the increases to keep the stitch count, but I couldn't put them in the same spot that I usually would, or it wouldn't look like the pattern. So I had to draw it to figure out where I would put the increases, but still make the hat this regular dome shape. So yeah, if I'm doing math, I like draw little X's to figure out where my stitches are gonna go. But if it's just a standard like hat or standard shape plushie, like, oh, you're making a sphere, then not really. Am I quitting YouTube? Nope. No, I'm not. I'm doing the opposite. I'm going all in, full force, posting every single day. I'm really, because the thing is, okay, when it comes to entrepreneurship, like, I don't know everything. Like, I don't have a successful business yet, but I'm working towards it, right? So like I watch a lot of videos, and I try to get educated on the life of an entrepreneur, right? And I also watch a lot of so I watch some videos like, oh, how to build a business, but then I watch other videos of just like people running their business and like what their daily routine looks like, right? And one thing that's consistent across pretty much every entrepreneur is you have multiple streams of income, meaning that if one thing falters, you're not making $0. So for example, one of my streams of income is Etsy. And even within Etsy, there's multiple streams of income because I have my physical products, meaning that when an order comes in, I now have to fulfill that order. But then I have my digital product, meaning, hi Neptune, how are you? I have my digital products, meaning that when someone orders it, I don't have to do anything. They immediately get sent the PDF, right? So let's say hypothetically I needed to take a break from Etsy, and or let's say I'm going away on a trip, meaning I don't have my yarn so I can't make products, I can still get orders from my digital product. I can still be fulfilling orders even when I'm out of the country because it's a digital product, right? So within Etsy, there's two incomes, physical products and digital products. And then my YouTube, right now I do have a channel membership, and I currently have 7 channel members, which is a lot for me. With my other YouTube channel, the most I currently have 0 channel members over there. But there was a point in time when I had 2 channel members, right? And so right now, having 7 people, like having a recurring payment of $1 a month, it's not a lot, because I'm not trying to like charge you guys like, oh, $10 a month. Like, I'm not trying to make it a money grab. It's just something I've chosen to turn on. And it's like, if you become a channel member, then you get an icon next to your username. It's a little yarn ball. And the longer you're a channel member, like when you're a channel member for a month, it changes to a different color. And then 2 months, it's a different color, right? And so like the color kind of represents how long you've been a channel member. And at the end of my long form videos, I list the names of all my channel members. So it's like the perk is that like I like put your name at the end of my video, like a shout out, like a thank you, right? Because I truly am thankful, right? And so I'm not going to charge you $10 for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, like it's not supposed to be a money grab, nothing like that. It's just an option that YouTube gives. So I decided to turn it on, and it's 99 cents, right? By the way, we have finished weaving in the ends on scrunchie number 3, right? And so that's one income stream. And then once I get fully monetized, then I'll get paid for my views, meaning that you guys won't be like, you give me money. It'll be like you watch a video and then I get paid from that. So no money leaves your pocket, but money enters my pocket. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have a digital product, I have physical products, I have a channel membership, and soon I'll have ad revenue, right? That's already 4 streams of income. So if one goes down, I still have the other 3. You know what I mean? And so it's like, also, once again, let's say I go away on a trip, meaning I can't fulfill physical product orders. People can still watch my videos, which means I'll still make money even though I'm not physically making orders, right? Like, you want to have multiple streams of income. You don't want to rely on one thing, because if that one thing falters for whatever reason, then now you're making $0, which is a dangerous position to be in. Do I plan on adding things to my Etsy? Yeah, I'm adding new things all the time. Let me show you some of the things I was working on that I was telling you about before. Can I crochet an octopus? Not right now, but maybe. I have crocheted an octopus before, not like one with really long legs, but like kind of like mini octopi. But this stream is 2 hours and 13 minutes, so it's gonna wrap up soon. But these are some stuff I've been working on. So let me see if I can find, okay. So I know that I am Canadian, but I have been working on a 4th of July collection because a lot of my customers are American. So as I was saying like earlier in this stream, when I was giving advice on like starting a business, I was saying like, you don't know what people are going to like from you. So make a bunch of different things, like make scrunchies, hats, bandanas, plushies, like make a bunch of different things. And then when, like, let's say people start ordering your bandanas, well, now you can double down and make a bunch of bandanas, right? So it's like, you don't know what people are going to want from you, therefore make a little bit of everything in the beginning. Another thing is, you don't know where your products are going to be popular. My products have been popular in USA, right? Like most, I would say 90% of my orders come from USA, even though I'm in Canada, right? So I'm trying to cater to my US audience because that seems to be my audience. Therefore, I want to come out with a 4th of July collection because Americans love 4th of July, as far as I know. Like, everybody's repping their red, white, and blue on the 4th of July, right? So I have come up with this scrunchie. It is a red, white, and blue scrunchie. And then this one I have not weaved in the ends for, but it is the same thing, but inverse. So this one has red on the inside, blue on the outside. This one has blue on the inside and red on the outside. Let me move this tail, right? So I've made these two red, white, and blue scrunchies. I haven't put them up on my Etsy yet, but there are other, and like this is what the side looks like. Like, love that. I haven't put them up on my Etsy yet, but I do have some other items on my Etsy for 4th of July. Like, I've already posted some things for that collection. So I've posted a bucket hat, red, white, and blue, a cat ear beanie, 2 cat ear beanies, one that's striped and one that's like a color block, and then something else that I can't remember right now. But then another thing I'm working on, they look so cute, thank you. Another thing I'm working on is I didn't even realize that this is gonna be 250 years of America's independence. So Jamaica. I'm so used to talking about Jamaica because that's my background. America became independent in 1776. So now it's 2026, which is 250 years. So this is like a big 4th of July, right? Like, for example, back in 2017, that was Canada 150. So when Canada turned 150. So Canada became independent in 18, now I can't even think. What's 2017 minus 150? 1876, is that right? Oh my gosh. Not me being bad at math live. 1867. That makes more. I said 1876. I switched the last. I knew that. I knew it was 1867. I learned it in a history class in school. Anyways, we became independent in 1867. So 2017 was Canada 150, right? And it was like everywhere, plastered everywhere, billboards, murals, everywhere. So I'm assuming that since this is USA 250, I'm assuming that it's a big deal, right? So I've made this bucket hat, which I might need to rework. That is the red and white stripes that you have on the flag. And then for the blue, I wrote 1776, right? Right? I feel like this was such a cool design when I thought of it. I haven't seen a hat that looks like this, so maybe I'm not the first person to come up with it. And it's still attached to the yarn. I haven't cut off the yarn yet. But yeah, so it's red, white, and blue with 1776 in blue. So it kind of looks like the flag, and it says the year that you guys became independent. So this is one of my designs that isn't up on my Etsy yet, but I'm going to put it up. And the reason why I haven't put this up yet is because of this. So this is the same thing, but a beanie, even though it's going to be hot during 4th of July. So I don't know if anyone would want a beanie. Like, I feel like more people would gravitate towards a bucket hat over a beanie, but I still wanted to make the beanie option. But the reason why these have not been posted yet is because this is falling into my same but different like persona. But like, I genuinely, like, help me out. So you see how the numbers start on the white line, right? So it goes white, red, white, red, white, right? And the numbers take up those 5 rows, right? But on this one, the number starts on the red row. So it goes red, white, red, white, red. So the numbers take up those 5 rows, right? So my question is, which one is easier to read? Because I feel like the red kind of clashes with the blue. So like, for example, if you look at the number 6, like in the whole of the 6, the whole is white. But on this one, in the whole of the 6, it's red because I just started it on a different row. So I don't know which one is easier to read. So I don't know which one to release. Like basically, should I move this down a row or should I move this up a row? I'm an overthinker. If that wasn't clear, I don't know which one is easier to read. That is why I haven't released these yet. Because I can't tell if the blue and the red clash too much. And if I move it to a different line, I don't know if it is easier to read or not. So if any of you guys have an opinion, let me know. What is my favorite band? I don't know if I have one. This is gonna maybe date me a little bit, but when I was like 13, 14, there was a band called Mindless Behavior and I was obsessed with them. But since then, I haven't really listened to very many bands. Izzy, you love my videos? Thank you so much. I'm glad. Like, I try to make good content, and like, good content is obviously subjective. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be completely transparent right now. When I was, like, I'm still posting daily, but when it was within the first year of me posting daily, I would post a video just to post a video. Even if I didn't think it was great, if it was about crochet, I posted it, okay? But, the thing is, some videos that I didn't think were good did way better than the videos that I thought were good. And so that is why, like, good content, what does that even mean? Like, I'll give you an example. A lot of my YouTube shorts, I like film a dedicated short. Like, it's not a clip from one of my long form videos. But, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Yes, if I don't have a pre-filmed video, then I just take a clip from an old video, right? And I consider those to be worse content because I'm posting something that you've already seen, but instead of it being a 30-minute video, I take a 30-second clip from that 30-minute video, right? So if I just don't have time to film a video that day, then I take a clip from something I already posted, which gives me the ability to then post multiple times per week. Because I can't necessarily film 7 videos a week, right? However, one of those videos where it's a clip has over 600,000 views. It's a clip of me reading a review. So someone left me a 5-star review on Etsy and I read the review. Like, making that short, clipping that short from the long form video maybe took me 20 minutes. It took me 20 minutes to make that short and it got over 600,000 views. Meanwhile, my other ones where I have to think of the idea, make the item for the video, and then film the video about that item that I made, and then edit it, that whole process takes hours, and some of those videos do well, but some of them don't. So it's like, just because you put a lot of effort into a video doesn't mean it's good or it's better. You as the creator don't get to decide what's good. Your audience gets to decide what's good. So some of my bad videos are the ones with millions of views. So what I'm saying is, post anything as long as it's related to your niche. Like, I'm not going to post a video of me playing the flute on my crochet channel because that doesn't make sense. Like, oh, I don't have a video today. Let me find this random video of me playing the flute when I was 13. No, like, that's not what I'm saying. But anything that is related to the topic of your channel, post it. Even if you think it's bad, post it. Because you don't know what people are going to like. For example, and like I said, when it comes to making products, I make a lot of hats, but my audience likes keychains, right? You don't get to control what people like. So make the thing and post the thing, and your audience will tell you if they like it or not. And if they do like it, do it some more. And if they don't like it, that doesn't mean you have to stop doing it if you as the creator like making that video, but it's like, sprinkle it in. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm posting 7 videos a week, I might make 2 of them something that I want to make and 5 of them something that my audience wants to see, right? So I still get to make content I like, but I'm also serving my audience, right? Like, there's always that balance. You think I should move the numbers up on the beanie? So, okay, maybe I know that that's what I said, but when I say move the numbers up, technically what I mean is I would still have it. Okay, so I did the numbers and then did one more row to finish the hat, right? So I started with red, white, red, white, red, white. So let's say I wanted this to start on a white line, then I would start the hat on white instead, which means this row wouldn't be red, it would be white. So it would still be on this part of the hat, but this line would be white because I would start with white. Does that make sense? So essentially, I just need to know if the red line is easier to read. Okay, let me re-ask the question because I feel like I confused you because I asked the question wrong. So, should I start the numbers on red or should I start the numbers on white? Which one is easier to read? Let me see if I can hold them up that the numbers are visible. Oh my gosh. They're made with different yarns. One is acrylic and one is cotton, so that's why they don't look exactly the same when I hold them up. So which one of these is easier to read? Is the bucket hat easier to read or is the beanie easier to read? That is my question, because that will determine which line I put the numbers on. You think I should start it on white? Okay. Okay, so this one is easier to read. Because essentially, whichever one is harder to read, I'm going to frog it and then redo it in the color that's easier to read. That's why, like, I haven't woven in my ends. And that's also why this is still connected to the yarn, because I haven't decided which one I'm frogging yet. So, yeah. One of these is getting frogged. I also, high-key, might make a YouTube short about it just to get more opinions. Like, don't get me wrong. I am still taking opinions from this live and I'm keeping them in my brain. But I might also make a YouTube short just to... I need more data. I need more data because I don't know which one. I don't know. But so far, this one is winning. Or no, we have, yes, so far the white is winning. So yeah, that's what I need to know And then once I see, now I'm hearing that the red is easier to see. And this is why I can't release them. So I have 1 vote for white and 1 vote for red. So yeah, that's the dilemma. You really are the queen of same, same, but different. I know, but see, this is what I'm saying. I overthink everything, right? Because, okay, part of me is like, why don't I make a beanie and a bucket hat with both options? Like, oh, do you want it to start with a red stripe or a white stripe? But that's just too confusing, because I can understand that the difference is so minuscule that most people won't care. And I understand that, but I care. So part of me is like, should I just make both versions of both hats? But something else I've learned through learning about entrepreneurship is option paralysis is a thing. If you give people 20 options, then you might be like, oh, variety, that's a perk. But having too many options can make people not pick anything because they get too overwhelmed with the options. So if you say this is the one option, then people either want it or they don't. That's a very easy yes or no. But when you have to say yes or no to 20 different things, well, then you just end up saying no because it's too many decisions to make, right? Which is one reason why I think my orca whale keychains do so well, is because it's not a whale keychain. Like, I'm not selling a blue whale and an orca whale and all the different types of whales. No, it's just an orca whale. So you either want an orca or you don't, right? Very easy decision to make. But for my other things, like when it comes to my scrunchies, there's 24 different color options. And that's not to say I'm reducing the color options, but I'm saying it is an extra decision you have to make. So if your first decision is, do I want a scrunchie? Yes. Then you have the second decision of which color. So now I just created more dissonance between you liking something and you buying something from me, right? So I do think that customs are nice and good, and it can potentially set you apart from your competition because maybe I have a very specific shade of blue that's my favorite color, and maybe this person who's making a bucket hat offers it in my favorite shade, and this person doesn't. So then I'm going to buy it from that person. Not because this person doesn't make good products, but they don't have the specific shade of blue that I want, right? I feel like when people go to Etsy, they are looking for that custom. They're looking for something oddly specific, which is why I like to give people lots of options. But I also understand that I could potentially be giving people too many options. And that is a valid critique, which I am taking into consideration. So, yeah. You want to see my nails? Okie dokie. These are just my natural nails. I like to grow out my nails. Can you see them? I like to keep them long. Yeah, I actually, they might look nicer than usual right now because I put a nail hardener on them because my nails keep breaking. I work a manual labor job. So sometimes my nails break at work and then I'm so upset because it's like I'll have 9 long nails and then 1 short nail and I'm like, but then I don't want to cut all the other nails to be short. No, I have to wait for that 1 nail to grow out. And I hate that. So anyways, I use like the Sally Hansen nail hardener, which is just like a clear polish, but it makes your nails not really bend. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something that you should rely on to keep your nails strong. But like if it's like winter and the air is dry, meaning your nails are more brittle than usual, or if you're working a manual labor job and you're like constantly grabbing at stuff, sometimes I might like pretend this is like a box that I'm picking up. I might accidentally go like this, and like when I'm trying to pick it up and I hit my nail on the box, and then my nail breaks off, right? So it's like if you're working with your hands and you don't want your nails to break, then that's an option. But yeah, so I just put on my nail hardener last night, which is why my nails look nice and shiny. Do you like to sell your crochet on Etsy? Yes, I do. I'm actually like sorry is not the right word, but I wish I'd started sooner. Like when I'm watching all the other crochet girlies, a lot of them started during the pandemic, and I'm like, girl, you're so smart. Like when everyone was at home, like you couldn't shop in stores, you had to shop online. And also, not only were people just shopping online more, people were just literally online more, because you couldn't go out, you couldn't go to the gym, you couldn't go to school, you couldn't go to work. You had nothing to do but scroll the internet. So you were scrolling YouTube, which means people are going to stumble upon your YouTube channel. You're scrolling Etsy because people are just shopping because you can't shop in store, right? So it's like that was like the best time to start a business. And also, when I'm thinking back to what I was doing in the pandemic, I was doing a whole lot of nothing. Why was your girl not starting a business? That's because right now I'm not in, okay, during the pandemic, I was in university. I was in my third year of uni. And so I was definitely busy when I was in university because I was a varsity athlete, plus I had class, and I didn't live on campus when I was in university. I commuted an hour. So I lived home. This is my parents' house where I currently am and where I still currently live. And my parents' house is an hour from the university that I went to. So I would commute an hour to school and then do all my extracurriculars, class, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And then drive an hour back home. So don't get me wrong, I was busy. But during the pandemic, I wasn't. Track, extracurriculars, canceled. School, canceled. So no commute. I wasn't going anywhere. Canceled. I was doing a whole lot of nothing. Why was your girl not starting a business? I should have been starting a business. All the girlies who started a business in 2020, you are so smart. You are so smart. Like, you knew what was up. You're so smart. Meanwhile, I was just waking up, watching TV, and going to sleep. The girlies were out here making money, and I was sleeping. So, yeah. I kind of fumbled the bag with that one. But, like, there's a saying where it's like the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is now, right? So it's like, okay, I didn't start when everyone else started. But if I was just going to complain about that and never start, then I would never get anywhere. So yes, those people who started during the pandemic, they're now 6 years into their business. So they're obviously farther along than I am. I'm only 2 years into my business. But I will never get to 6 years if I never start. You know what I mean? So I started when I started, and eventually I'll get to the 6-year mark. Eventually I will reach the successes that I want, and I just have to stick it out. So that's what I'm doing. You want to buy something on my Etsy, but you don't know if you're able to right now. That is okay. That is a-okay. Let me put it this way. My shop is not going anywhere. So if you can't buy something right now, that's all right. Whatever you want is probably still gonna be there. Like, that's the thing. I don't usually, unless it's a custom order, I don't usually make one-offs. So if you see a hat that you like, the hat will still be there a year from now. You know what I mean? So there's no rush. Buy on your own time. And also, if someone never buys from me, you just being in my audience, I'm already so grateful for that. Which hook do I use when making scrunchies? I use a 6.5. Can you see that? This is my Susan Bates 6.5. I love this hook. I use it for my plushies and for my scrunchies. When I'm making hat, and for my double-stranded ruffle hat. When I'm making single-stranded hats, like when I made these, I use a 5mm hook. But yes, we've been going for 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 39 minutes. Did I not start off this stream saying that I was going to stream for an hour? Look at me unintentionally lying. Look at me. Like, I feel like time flies by without you realizing it. Do you want to know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to 3 hours, which means 21 more minutes. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to end the stream. I don't have anything left to crochet. So we're just going to be chatting. The crochet part of this crochet and chat has ended because I only planned for 3 scrunchies. Before you started your business, did you just crochet for fun? Yeah, like I won't lie, I crocheted like on and off. Because like with school and stuff, and like I had a part-time job when I was in school and all that stuff, I just didn't really find much time. But like I would be the kind of person, I would pick it up, crochet a couple of things, and then put it down for like 6 months. But another thing is like, I didn't want to crochet too many things because I didn't know what to do with them. You know what I mean? It's like for example, I love to crochet hats. If I crochet 10 hats, well, now I just have 10 hats. Like I only have one head. You know what I mean? So what am I going to do with 10 hats? Right? So part of me didn't want to crochet too much before I had a business because then I just had all this stuff just in my closet. Like, I'm not going to be able to show you right now because it's deep in the back of my closet. But I have some crochet projects from like 2012 that are still just sitting in my closet because what am I supposed to do with them? Right? And so, yeah, like, let me put it this way. Once again, we're going to be transparent. Just out of frame, right to my left, is a pile of yarn and crochet projects. So I have a bunch of bags that I put my finished projects in, tie it closed, and put it in that corner. And then I start a new bag, fill it up, put it away, right? Okay, this corner is just full of things I haven't sold yet. It's bad. I'm not going to show it to you because it's embarrassing. It's a lot. It's a lot. Take my word for it. So I've strategically framed my camera so that you can't, you cannot see that corner of my room. Like I'm being so honest with you right now. It's a mess. I'm gonna fix it. Not right now. I bought, what is it called? One of those rolling carts with drawers so that I can organize all my stuff. I bought that like 3 months ago. I haven't even opened the box. I haven't even assembled it. But that's a future YouTube video. So basically, let me spoil it for you. I haven't filmed the video yet, so I don't know how the video is going to go because I haven't filmed it yet. But I'm going to film a video organizing my yarn stash. So I bought the shelf to organize it. And now that shelf is also just in the corner. Yeah. So I've crocheted a lot throughout the years, but not too much because I didn't want my room to get overflowed with crochet. And now that I've started a business that hasn't gotten to the point where I'm just constantly selling things just yet, we will get there. I'm speaking that into existence, but we haven't gotten there yet, meaning I just have a lot of stock that I haven't sold yet. So it's overtaking my bedroom. It's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. What tips would I give for a beginner? A beginner in crochet or a beginner in business? Can I go live more often? You really like my lives? I hope to. Also, that Armenian girl, how are you? I hope to. How do I explain? I like going live because then I don't have to edit after. Like this video just gets to be put on my channel and then I don't have to do anything. So technically, going live, even though I'm about to be live for 3 hours, going live technically takes less time than filming a video because you have to film the video and then spend hours editing it. So this technically takes less time, but it still takes a lot of time, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I hope to. I just need to find the time because I can't really go live during the week because of my job. And then so weekends are really my only time. So tips for beginners in crochet. I feel like I touched on this earlier, but essentially learn your stitches. These are the stitches you need to know. You need to know how to chain, slip stitch, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and treble crochet. Once you learn those 6 stitches, you can make more or less anything. Like, because for example, let's say you're going to do a shell stitch. A shell stitch is just 5 double crochets in 1 stitch, right? So it's called something different. It has a fancy name, but it's just made up of one of the main stitches. You know what I mean? So once you learn all of those stitches, you can make anything. You can make anything. Crochet, like I've shown people like things I've crocheted and they're like, oh, that looks so intricate. And I'm like, in my brain, I just did a double crochet 500 times, right? So yes, not everyone, like everyone can learn to crochet, but not everyone currently knows how. So it looks complicated. But if you're someone who knows how to, like for example, this might look complicated, but it's only double crochets. And then I did some like tapestry crochet but it's all double crochets to make the number. So essentially I did only double crochets, but I did color changes. You know what I mean? But every bucket hat I make is the exact same pattern, and it just depends on where I choose to put the colors to make a different design. Every single one of my bucket hats is the same pattern. The design is just different because of whether or not I choose to do a color change, right? So yeah, once you learn the core stitches, you can make anything. Anything. Do you have any half-finished projects? Yep. I have some projects that I was working on when I went on my trip to Jamaica and I didn't bring enough yarn with me to finish them. And I have not finished them yet. Like even I was going to finish the hat that I made before I went to Jamaica, the one I was making on my last live stream. And I have the yarn for it. And then I couldn't find the hat. I was looking for it before I started the live stream. Also, random, I have this bucket hat here. This is one of the ones I made in Jamaica. And as you can see, I ran out of yarn. I literally have like one more row left and I ran out of yarn. But going back to what I was saying before, these are the exact same pattern. These are the exact same hat. This one looks more intricate. It's not. They're the exact same hat. They both have the exact same amount of stitches. It's just that on this one, I chose to do color changes, and on this one, I didn't. They're the exact same. They're the exact same. They have the same number of stitches, same number of increases, same place. Everything is exactly the same except for the color changes. So yeah, if you're a beginner, learn your stitches, and then you can follow any tutorial. Any video tutorial. When it comes to patterns, reading patterns is a whole different skill because you might not know the abbreviations yet. So you might know what a double crochet is, but then when you see DC in a pattern, which is the abbreviation for double crochet, you might not know that yet. So then you're like, when you see something that says, if you see in brackets 3DC, comma, INC, close bracket, times 12, you might not know what that means. But if you saw a video tutorial of someone doing that, you'd be able to follow along because you know how to do your stitches, right? So that essentially means do 3 double crochets, so 1 in each stitch for the next 3 stitches, and then do an increase in the 4th stitch, and then do that 12 times. That's what that means. But you might not know that if you've never read a pattern before, or if no one has ever taught you how to read a pattern, right? So yeah, learn your stitches and you'll be fine. Which stitch did I use for the bucket hats? I used double crochets. All of these, they're all double crochets. Let me tell you something. The double crochet is my favorite stitch. My favorite stitch. It's also the first stitch I ever learned. I feel like I might have learned to crochet backwards. Like I feel like naturally you would learn a single crochet, then a double crochet, then maybe a half double, then a treble. Like you build. I learned the double crochet first, right? So that's my favorite stitch. It's the one I'm most familiar with. Whenever I crochet without looking, I'm doing a double crochet. Like that is the stitch that I learned 16 years ago. For the first maybe 3 years that I crocheted, I think I only knew how to do a double crochet. I don't think I knew how to do anything else if I'm like remembering correctly. You can make so many projects with 1 stitch. Okay, so I don't even think I learned how to do any other stitch in the first 3 years, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, even, okay, this is another thing I have close by me. I have this hat that says Boo. It's a cat ear beanie with ruffles. I made this for Halloween. It never sold, but that's okay. And once again, it's all double crochets. So yeah, everything I make, not everything, most things I make, double crochets. Poon, you have to go now? Well, thank you for being in the stream. It was great chatting with you. What age did I learn to crochet? I learned to crochet when I was 11. I found out what crochet was when I was 9, but then they didn't let me join the crochet club until I was 11. So I did learn how to knit when I was 10. My grandma taught me how to knit. And I don't like knitting. I haven't knit since I was 10, which was in 2009. I learned how to knit in 2009, and then I never knit again after 2009. Like, it's not for me. It's not for me. So, yeah. Yeah. But yes, we have 8 more minutes because I said I'm going in at the 3-hour mark. So if any more questions you have, we have 8 more minutes. And I'll try not to spend like 5 minutes per question because I know that I can get long-winded with my answers. I know. Did my grandma want me to learn to crochet? So essentially what happened was I went to the crochet club at my school and they turned me away. And they did that in grade 3 and grade 4. And so I went, the second time they turned me away in grade 4, I was complaining to my dad that they wouldn't let me join the club. So then he was like, okay, I'll get your grandma to teach you. But like my dad doesn't know that crochet and knitting are 2 different things. So when he hit up my grandma, which was his mom, to teach me to crochet, that's not what he said on the phone. He's like, oh, Olivia wants to learn to knit. Is it okay if I drop her off this weekend for you to teach her, blah, 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 right? So he told her knit. So that's why she thought I wanted to learn how to knit. So then when I go to her house and like she's teaching me to knit because that's what she thought she was there to do. So yeah, the live is laggy. Oh, honestly, it could be my computer because I don't have a desktop computer. I have a laptop. And my laptop is not a very powerful, it's a Mac, but it's not like one of the more powerful Macs, I guess. So it could just be my computer doing well because it's a long stream. Also, has my audio been loud this whole time? Hold on. I feel like my audio has been peaking. Sorry, let me do something. I just turned down my mic a little bit. I feel like my mic has been going into the red. Whoops. For 3 hours, my mic has been peaking. Whoops. Wait, why is it still loud? Hold on. Is that better? That's how I do my mic checks whenever I'm filming a video. The beginning of each clip of every YouTube video I film, I go like this. And then I look at the volume level on my camera to see if my mic is peaking. But I did not check if my mic was peaking during this stream. So sorry if I was distorted at any point. Ooh, I do not want to mispronounce this. I'm just going to say Zini. You can crochet. I love that. I love that more people are learning to crochet. And I feel like crochet is becoming more popular in like a younger demographic. Because like I'm only 27 and I feel like it's seen as like a grandma hobby. I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to crochet. Like it's fun. And I'm good at it, and it gives me something to do with my hands. I don't know if you've noticed, but since I've put down my crochet, I've been like talking with my hands. I am a hand talker, okay? I talk with my hands. And so if I don't have something in my hands keeping it in this spot, they're going to be all over the place. And there's just nothing that I can do about that. Like, this is just how I am. So it gives me a way to relax my hands. What is the easiest thing for me to crochet? Hats. It's easy in the sense that I don't really have to think and I don't really have to count because yes, hats, like the way I make my hats, the first 5 rows are increases and then the rest of them are just 1 double crochet in each stitch, meaning you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again, so you don't have to count. So like with other projects, like with amigurumi, you have to count because if you don't count, you might get something that's lopsided or it might just end up too big and like the proportions will be off, right? And like with a hat, obviously the sizing matters because you want it to fit whoever's going to be wearing it. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's more leeway with wearables. Like if you have a sweater that's a little baggy, that's fine. It doesn't need to be a skin tight sweater. So if you accidentally added a stitch when making a sweater, it doesn't really matter. But if you accidentally added a stitch when making a stuffed animal, then the shape will be wrong. So it'll be obvious. So you have to count. Is there anything that I hate having to crochet? Anything where I have to sew. When I make amigurumi, I try to use no sew or low sew patterns because I'm not sewing on a head, arms, feet, tail, ears. I'm not sewing on, and the thing is, there's 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 ears. That's 6 things that I have to sew on. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I recently had an order for I'm losing my train of thought. For a panda plushie and panda keychain. For the plushie, I bought a pattern and that pattern, the only thing I had to sew on was the head. The arms, legs, and ears, you crocheted them in. But the head, the body and the head were 2 different pieces and you had to sew that. That's fine. Still not my favorite thing to do, but it's one thing. I can sew one thing. For the keychain, the tutorial that I was following, you had to sew every piece together. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I watched the video tutorial and then I modified it to where the only thing I had to sew on were the ears. So it's like when you become like well versed in crochet and you learn how to make different shapes. Like someone asked me earlier if I ever draw things before I crochet them. I can kind of see it in my head, so I don't really have to draw it, right? So I can take someone else's pattern and modify it to make it no sew or low sew. So if you give me the steps, I can take those steps and do them in a way where I can just crochet everything on. I am not sewing. I hate sewing. Hate. um Zini, are you saying that you have a crochet club at your school? I hope I'm understanding that correctly. I love that. I love when people get to crochet together. I do most of my crocheting alone in my bedroom. um, but yeah, like a lot of people I know don't know how to crochet. I don't have any like in-person crochet friends. Like I have online friends who know how to crochet, but in person, no one I know, like, okay, my aunt and my cousin know how to crochet. And when I say cousin, this cousin is like 30 plus years older than me. Like we don't have time to get into this because we're at 3 hours, mind you. But let me just quickly finish what I was about to say. So I'm signing off very soon. But my family tree is kind of a dumpster fire because long story short, my dad is one of 9 kids and he's number 8, meaning his oldest siblings are like nearly 20 years older than him. So they started having kids when he was very young. So my dad is closer in age to his nieces and nephews than he is to some of his brothers and sisters, which means some of my cousins are like 30 plus years older than me. So it's like we're not close in age. So my cousins who are close to my age, they don't crochet. But one of my cousins who is like 36 years older than me, she knows how to crochet, but like her and I aren't like hanging out. You know what I mean? Because she's so much older than me, right? So I do have people in my family who crochet, but no one in like my age group. I feel like arm warmers are a cute thing to crochet. I've never made arm warmers before. I've made leg warmers for an order. And those took a billion years because I was doing single crochet back loop only. And if you know, you know. So that took 5 billion. It took me 10 hours. It took 10 hours. Let's just put it that way. Hi, Candy. How are you? Do I have wool? As in like the material. I know some people just call yarn wool. I do have specifically wool yarn. Speaking of the leg warmers, I made them in wool yarn, but that's the only project where I've ever used wool. I usually use acrylic when I'm making things that are supposed to be warm, like if I'm making a hat, like a winter hat or a sweater. And when I'm making bucket hats, I use cotton yarn. When I'm making scrunchies, I use velvet. And when I'm making plushies or pillows, I use chenille. So those are the materials. So I use acrylic, velvet, cotton, chenille. Those are like my go-tos. And so, yeah, that is, those are the materials that I use. But we are now at 3 hours and 2 minutes, which means it is time for me to sign off. It is 5:06 p.m. I was not planning on streaming this long, but I'm so glad that I got to chit chat with all of you guys. Let's do a quick recap of what we made. We made these 3 scrunchies. We made one in white, one in indigo, and one in gray orchid. That is the names of these colors. And they're all Bernat velvet. That is the brand of velvet that I use. And so, if I, just a little plug, these will all be for sale on my Etsy, but they're going to be under my custom scrunchie listing, right? So if you go to that listing, you'll see all the different colors. So let's say you order a white one, it's gonna say it's gonna ship in like 1 to 2 weeks, but I can literally ship it tomorrow because I just made a white one. You know what I'm saying? Well, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Sunday, but I can literally ship it on Monday because I already have this. And if you order indigo, I already have it. And if you order gray orchid, I already have it, right? So essentially, burnout velvet, I have to buy it online because they don't sell a variety of colors in person where I live. So if you ordered something today, then I have to order online, which means I have to wait to get it, right? So for my processing time, I purposely set it for 1 to 2 weeks in case the yarn takes a long time to get to me. That way I can still ship the order on time, right? But there are certain colors that I already have, meaning that if you ordered it, it wouldn't take 2 weeks because I already have the color in my stash. But if you order a color that I've never made before, then I have to wait for the yarn to come in, right? Are these for an order? No, they're not. They're just for stock. So that's why I'm saying if you order one of these 3 colors, like right now, I'll ship it out Monday because I don't have to make them because I already made them. You know what I mean? So yes, I'm just saying, if you were thinking about ordering something and you wanted to get it real quick, like, these are available. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So yes, that is the end of this stream. I loved talking to you guys. I don't know when my next stream is going to be, but I do know I am going to be streaming on May 18th. So there might be a stream before that. There might not. But I know that for a fact, I am going to stream on May 18th because that is the 2-year anniversary of me starting my business. So it's going to be like an anniversary stream. So there will be another stream within the next, 16 days. But there also might be one before that. I don't know. But just know, keep your eye out for May 18th. I don't know what day of the week that is. How am I out here saying I'm going to stream and I don't even know what day of the week it is? That's a Monday. So I'm going to have to do it before work. So it's going to be not early because I don't wake up early. Like, it's not going to be like 8 a.m. I'm not going to be awake at 8 a.m. Let's be for real. But it's going to be earlier than usual because it's going to be a Monday and I work evenings, so I'll have to do the stream before work, right? So, yes. Anywho, I've done too much rambling. And it was great talking to you guys as usual. And I can't wait for the next live stream. And I will see you then. Bye.